Oh, well,
Alrighty. You're so caught on guard.
what was
Okay.
that now recording head ass? Okay.
Okay. Um, hey everyone, welcome to the Peak or Trash podcast, where we figure out whatever we're reviewing is either peak or belongs in the garbage. My name is Alex Quinn, or you can call me LGCrusader, and we have our host.
Oh, my introduction. Yeah, I'm Maximus Dorsey,
Mhm.
aka Khaki. I would go by either or, whichever
Yeah.
you're feeling.
All right. Well, tell me about yourself. If you, since it's first time like introducing ourselves to the audience, what do you want to say about yourself?
Um, for me, um,
Free promo, man. Dude, shout out your art page.
I'm my art page that has been dead for a year. Shout out Khaki Draws. I haven't posted in a year, but don't worry, we're just cooking up. Um, I like to draw, I like to do art. Hopefully, want to make manga in the future, my own manga, or dabble in some comics department anywhere. Just as long as I'm drawing, I'm fine. Besides that, um, going to school right now, trying to get more knowledge in theater, doing a play right now, all that, yada yada yada.
Yay.
Um, yeah, just pretty chill, just trying to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm. All right, now I respect that. I respect that. And for those who don't know, my name is Alex. Like I said before, I'm 20. I'm 20 years old, and going to college. Going to college, trying to earn my degree, and I'm also trying to be a voice actor. Uh, if for those who don't know, I've done some like little like fun like little comic dubs here and there. You might have heard it on YouTube for Persona. Uh, Actually, yeah, Max here or Kaki has we have a channel called Luck of the Dubs, and we have a lot of original Persona 5 comics on it that is drawn by him. So that's why he's such an amazing and overall he's such an amazing and kind and great person when he's not being an asshole.
I'll ignore that. Along with me, there's also a lot of talented voice actors in those as well. So definitely check them out. Check out all their other work. They're a good group of people.
Yeah. I'll probably drop anything that we mentioned. I'll probably drop in the description or something somehow, unless it's on Spotify. There's not much we can do there. But so the reason why we are starting this podcast today is that we will be reviewing Ruby, Rooster Teeth's Ruby. Are you excited, man?
Yeah. I stayed up till 4 watching season 1. Okay. Although it was sick. Although I do like why am I calling it season?
Uh,
Although I
a-
do like volume 1.
actually, it's volume one. Get it right. You're not a true Ruby fan.
Wait, I don't care.
Okay.
Season 1, volume 1, same thing. I enjoyed my watch of volume 1 again, even though it's 4 in the morning, especially the trailers. Oh my god,
Oh,
the trailers.
oh god, the trailers. Okay. So, before we start, let's introduce I'm going to do some setup real quick for those who don't know Ruby. Ruby is a 3 anime web show that was created by Monty Ohm and written both by Miles Luna and Kerry Shawcross, and it is published under Rooster Teeth. And for those who don't know what Rooster Teeth is a production company like born in Austin, Texas, founded in 2003, run by some names: Bernie Burns, Matt Hullum, Jeff Ramsey. And people may know Rooster Teeth as people who on YouTube as they created Red versus Blue. They have the Achievement Hunter, the Let's Play guys, Funhouse, all that fun stuff. And I think most recently they've been they kind of merged with Warner Bros. I think so. Yeah, that's where they are. That's where they're now. And for those who don't know Monty Ohm is a awesome fucking animator. Rest in peace to him. He's known on YouTube for making his like Dead Fantasy series, where he's like takes a lot of characters for Final Fantasy and Dead or Alive, I think. Yeah, and then he makes awesome ass fight scenes with them, and yeah, and then I think he first joined the Rooster Teeth company to help produce Red versus Blue for season 8, I think, when he's to help incorporate fight scenes in there, and that also led to him finally producing his own series, Ruby. So there you go, some little knowledge drops. So how this talk is going to work is um we're gonna be reviewing the Ruby trailer, so the red trailer, white trailer, black and yellow trailer, and then once we kind of give our general thoughts on that, we're gonna talk about Volume 1 as a whole, and like talk about the episodes, what we thought about it, what was good, what was bad, and we in the end we'll just figure out if it's good or trash.
Sure,
So,
sure.
all right, ready to walk into this, man?
My body's ready, Kakashi Sensei.
All right. Sorry. Okay. Alrighty. We'll first start off with the red trailer. For those who don't know, the red trailer, uh, obviously it's the first, I think the first ever trailer they dropped for Ruby, and wow, yeah, it's been released 10 years ago, man.
I feel like we can't start this red trailer without talking about our personal experience and how we got into it because we both got into it through this trailer. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. So what is your experience with Ruby or Rooster Teeth as a whole? If you want to mention Rooster Teeth involved.
um, with Rooster Teeth itself,
Mhm.
I didn't really watch a lot of other stuff besides dabbles of Red versus Blue because that was around the time I started playing Halo as well. But I
Mm,
didn't keep up with Red or Blue like on an episodic basis. I just watch a random episode once in a while. And with Halo, there was that. And at the same time in middle school, I started watching anime and reading manga. My first was Fairy Tail, Raid Master, Soul Eater. I started with that. And then one day, it was 2017 during our break, right before we were about to graduate middle school, where I saw this trailer just appear in my feed. I was like, oh, this looks sick. This looks anime. It looks fire. And middle school me was blown away because I did connect the fact that there's anime and there's 3D anime. And I'm like, oh my gosh, anime is real. Like the fucking nerd I was.
the One
So,
Piece is real.
no one please. Yeah. But
Sorry. Continue.
yeah, that's how I found out about this drone. Just went down the rabbit hole. And about this time, they were midway through volume 4 or about to go to volume 5. Not sure exactly. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but 1 through
Yeah,
3 were out.
I think Volume 4 started around 2016, and I think they're just about to finish up, and I think maybe announce Volume 5 if you watched it during 2017.
I remember I saw the announcement for volume 5 and I was like, oh shit, well, there's more. Sick. But yeah, that was my experience getting into it. Binge through it 1 through 4, all through the little break I had. And yeah, enjoyed every second.
Ah, I see. I see. All right. Cool. Okay. So if you're talking about my experience, Uh, I didn't get into Ruby first. I actually got into Red versus Blue first. I got into it because I had a friend at the time. Uh, he was a big Red versus Blue fan, and he wanted me to watch it. So I watched it, and I finished all like currently. I finished all the way up to the 14th, maybe 15th. No, 15th season. 15 seasons. I think that's when they did the whole time travel thing, which was really weird. I didn't finish afterwards. And then around that time, that's when I kind of had like what caught my eye was like Ruby, and I'm like, oh, interesting. It's a 3D anime girls fighting. If you want to really break it down in the most basic terms. But then when I saw the trailer for the red trailer, oh my god, like it just pulled me in, and I spent like the like 3 days, in the past, just like watching all of volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3, just binge watching it straight, and then that left for volume 4, and yeah, that's where I was as a Ruby fan. So, it's a big part of my childhood. It's kinda weird. It's kinda weird now to kinda come back to it, you know?
We are years later.
10 years later, here we are. Back back to where we started. Alrighty, so now we got our little personal experience with Ruby out of the way. Let's talk about the red trailer.
Ooh, there we
Woohoo!
go.
I mean, I don't know. I think probably the trailers are the best thing that Ruby has. This is the
I'll
most this is the most
say with
positive things we'll say about Ruby for until
I'll say
like
with confidence, it's the best thing. One of the best things about Ruby is the
yeah.
fight. For me, it's the fights and the music. But
Oh,
we can say music for another time. We can tie those in any way we like, without saying the music. For me, the
music.
music carries, but I'll get to that later sequence.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm not like music always carries to this day. Like to the most recent volume 9, music is always a fucking banger. So
Of
can't
course.
deny that. Let's see. Ruby Red trailer. It was dropped on November 7th, 2012, and it currently has, out of the 4 trailers, it has the amount of views with 16 million views. And ooh, so so let's just get general thoughts out of the way first. So Max, how do you feel about the trailer?
Fucking sensational. That's the best way I can put it. Um,
Yeah.
I'm going back to my first time watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's an anime girl, cute anime girl with a big ass fucking scythe. That was like perfect. She was basically like the second Maka for me. That's what I
Uh,
thought of it.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
because I
they
was
probably
watching Soul Eater, so I was like, ooh, I like that.
I'm pretty sure they knew what they're doing when they added a scythe wielding hero, and
Oh, definitely.
Soul Eater was popular at the time, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled some inspiration from Soul Eater. Still feel
I've
bad, never
heard
watched
that
it.
they pulled. Oh, you gotta watch. I'm gonna get you on that. But I heard that they pulled a lot of inspiration from anime. Like I think um, one of the more um, I can't think of the word, but one of them they pulled from, not pulled from, but took inspiration from was Cowboy Bebop quite a bit.
Oh yeah, especially in
So
the
I
first
can,
episode, but we'll get to
we'll get to that.
that when the time comes. Yeah, yeah, Monty. Okay, obviously Monty's like a big anime fan, along with martial arts. Because I know from what I remember from some of the documentaries that came out, he took a lot of inspiration from like martial arts films, and that's what helped. Like he incorporated that philosophy in martial arts film into a lot of the early fight scenes of Ruby, and it shows
Yeah.
a lot. Especially there's like
Mhm.
so much style and flair into it. Whew. Um, all right, so to summarize the Red trailer, if you want to really break it down in the most basic terms, you introduced to Ruby Rose at a and you see her visit her mother's grave. Her name is Summer Rose, that we find out later in the series. She visits her mother's grave on a cliffside, and as she's returning home, she gets attacked by Grimm. For those who don't know what Grimms are creatures of darkness that basically attack and feed on the negative emotions of humanity. And so in this trailer, they're just wolves. They didn't have much of a refined design until like the actual show came out. But like
They're pretty much fodder just to show off how badass this girl is.
exactly. And then fight scene ensues, and it's badass as fuck.
Yeah. The
Yeah, I mean,
side note, I've heard that the grave at the start had no significance whatsoever in the beginning.
oh
Then
yeah,
they turned into, "Oh, yeah, let's just take that his mom's grave." Sick, okay.
yeah. I
Which
think
I find hilarious.
I heard that was like a last minute decision, like that Monty wanted to add, like, yeah, let's give let's have Ruby's mom die. Just why not?
Typical anime protagonist. Seems about right.
Can't be an anime protagonist unless you have a missing parent figure or they're both dead.
Exactly.
Let's so what Max, what specifically did you like about the trailer?
A lot.
All right,
But,
let's break it down. Break it down. We got a lot of time.
um, it's a recurring thing with all the trailers, and I'll bring it up a lot.
Mhm,
It's these main things. It's the momentum of the fights and
mhm.
that they tell a story and doesn't feel like fighting. With the music incorporated, it feels like a dance, and that's what I liked about
Oh,
Monty's style.
yeah, exactly. That's what it really felt like. It's like a really like a a ballet of death. I guess if you
Ballet
want to
of
say
Death.
if you want to
Yes.
say it like that, okay. It was really cool. I didn't think about it like that. Like the trailer is being kind of like very dance like. Yeah, because for me, I enjoy like again. I think I'm more into like the like a little bit more on the narrative slash like like what I think looks good in in an action scene, and what I personally like about it, the music. Music always sets the tone and sets the tone for the trailer, and it was like red the I think the song for the red trailer is called Red Like Roses Part 1, sung by sung by Casey Williams, and but it's like written and conducted by Jeff Williams. And Casey
She was
Williams is like
14,
four, I thought she was 12 at that time, like 12, 13.
12, 13, 14. Shit, that's still impressive no matter what.
I know, that's fucking crazy how, like, she got those pipes, and it's really good.
I'm like, what the fuck was I doing at 12, 14? Oh yeah, watching this.
Watching this, writing some ri I'm writing my I think I was writing my shitty OC fan fiction around that time. She's accomplished way more than I have, and than I have the last at that time than I ever did. Yeah.
Props to her. That's crazy.
So yeah, music was really I think the song was the big part that kinda drew me in, like, it created kind of like a mysterious atmosphere. So we don't know much about the protag I would say okay, I will say knowing Ruby later in the like, knowing Ruby after the trailers, like Ruby Volume 1 and onwards, she doesn't have that motherfucking phone.
Oh no.
Anyways. Anyways, what was it? I forgot what I was talking about. So, yeah, no kinda knowing the Ruby how Ruby's characterized later in the series. I didn't really get I didn't re if you're really looking at it from a story standpoint, you're like, she just her characterization in the trailer is a little bit different from how she is in the final product, which, I'm gonna let it slide, man, because a trailer is supposed to show, like, a snippet of what it's supposed to be, and I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, they didn't show any good characterization for Ruby, you know? It's a trailer."
Feel like with that gets better the more we go on with the trailers.
Okay.
Especially White, but I will get to.
Oh, yeah,
But
I think yeah, for sure. I think characterization for each trailer does get better because we get to know a little bit more. Um, yeah, fight
but
scenes
with
are
this,
what's up?
oh
Sorry.
my bad.
No, no, no. What did you want to say? Sorry.
No, I was gonna say with this trailer, I feel like since it's the first trailer ever exposing the world to Ruby and showing what they got, it's more on the hype end, just to
Hmm.
show off how badass, how cool it's gonna look, because that's what drags people in. Shit, that's what dragged me in, and it
Exact.
worked.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. The fight scenes. Oh god, the fight scene. It's so beautiful.
ooh
Whoo! Sorry. It's just uh okay. Y- I want yeah. Can you elaborate on the fight scene? Because you described it as a dance. So can you elaborate what you mean by that?
by dance, I mean, I'm looking back at the video where,
Yeah, pull up the
you know,
Oh yeah, we have
yeah,
videos. We have the videos for the trailer for us to look at while we're talking, so it's easier for us to at least, recall the details a little bit easier.
yeah, beginning of the trailer, it starts out with, of course, we'll be looking at the grave for Summer. The music starts out slow and somber. Gives
Mhm.
that fairy tale vibe as it should.
Or
And
more
with the lyrics,
like a grim fairy tale kinda thing.
yeah, of
Ha,
course, they're
grim.
based on. I get it.
Ah! Sorry, go ahead, continue.
And what I love about the lyrics too, for not all the Ruby songs, they do tell you spot on what's going on, but it feels more impactful with, like I said, what's going on the screen. And when the music speeds up, that's when, like a dance, you usually pick up momentum. Fight scene
Mm.
just kicks into gear. And my God, I love her fucking weapon, dude. Like, holy shit.
Alright, for
Like,
those who don't sorry, for those who don't know, Ruby Rose, the main character, she wields a weapon called Crescent Rose, which is a scythe that is also a high impact, probably 50 caliber sniper rifle,
sniper. That's
and it's so fucking ah so
I love
cool.
I love how she uses the weapon
Mhm,
because she can easily just use the scythe as a scythe and the gun as the gun, but
mhm.
she uses the gun's recoil to
Her
add
advantage.
momentum and damage and just more impact with her scythe usage, hell, just even shoot her back, shoot her forward, and that's what I loved about these trailers and specifically the earlier seasons, 'cause it feels like every hit is hitting me. Like, sometimes I'm
Mhm.
like, "Ooh," like, that shit hurted.
Yeah,
Um,
like, a lot along with, like, how she wields her weapon with and how it's, like, done to really how she moves and fights to give a lot of the hits more impact. It's also how fluid and proficient she is with using her weapons in the trailer. Because I think when it comes to, like, fight scenes, when you animate them, it's really easy just to add, like, a blur effect to, like, kinda simplify it so you don't have to put too much work into like how to wield the weapon. But what I really enjoyed about how Ruby uses weapons, you can actually see her arms like redirecting, moving it around. You see her like entire body moving with the weapon. So it kind of it makes it makes you feel immersed in how she fights, and it's really cool. It's
it's
so
just like
flu
she says in, like, the first, sorry, I cut you off again.
No,
Oh,
no,
shoot.
you're good. Continue. You're good.
Um, remember rewatching Volume 1, she has, like, a quick quip saying, "A weapon is an extension of yourself and your body," and it
Mhm.
shows with the animation and how everything is choreographed, so just a nice touch.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to say the color. I didn't notice it
Ooh.
until I didn't notice it till last rewatch. Like, I like how the background is supposed to be a strong contrast to Ruby's like character design and color because she's primarily wearing red because of her robe. So in the scene, it makes her stand out, and you immediately get drawn into her because compared to the background, she's really saturated and it kind of you naturally like focus on her and that already like helps make her presence more well known in the so I think that's also something that's really cool that I guess I didn't really think about then until recently when I had to rewatch it. So and
Nice.
let's talk about Ruby's character design. What do you think about her character?
Well, pretty short, simple, straight to the point. It's inspired by got the whole Red Riding Hood vibe off the bat, especially when she has the cape on. I mean, it's a oh, that's loud. Um,
Are you playing the trailer?
yeah, I forgot I had this shit lag.
I'm just kind of
Um,
like doing like freeze frames so I can like pull up the scenes so I can get reference. But sorry, go ahead.
um, I like the use of the red, especially because with Ruby's design, it's red with a lot of um, blacks and grays, just less saturated colors, and that it helps um, bring out the red. Uh, again, I'll get to more of that in the white trailer because I think out of all of them, Weiss has my favorite design when it comes
Mm.
to character design and appeal.
Oh yeah.
But um, and I love the petals, and I love the little detail of instead of blood, when she cuts down these grim, it's just petals flying out.
Oh, yeah! It's just
So
gonna they I don't think they ever do that again later in the series, which makes me kinda sad.
yeah,
But it's okay, it's just a trailer it's the initial trailer, so it's gonna be a little bit different from the final product, but
yeah.
and then I think, for her design, they use a lot of, she has a very gothic influence for her character, a lot of black involved, you have, I don't it's like the kind of the dress reminds me of, like, those goth skirts that some people wear, it's like ruffles and I don't know how you say it, but, like,
Yeah, I feel you. Kinda taps into the edge, you know?
the edge no, which is funny because she's complete opposite of her look, she looks not she looks like she has a gothic look, but she's anything but gothic.
She's the least edgy, and, like, back to your point before about going into the show and actually seeing and hearing and learning about her character. Trailer, it gave me the complete opposite effect about how her character would be in the show. I thought this is gonna be some cold, dark, mysterious character with of course, she still has a tragic past with her mother, but
I think maybe if you want to, like, justify for this scene because she's visiting her mother's grave, she's not gonna be as, like, cheery as she usually is. So
mm,
maybe I think we can probably if anything, we might kinda I think we can let it slide for how kind of out of character she is for this moment.
yeah.
if
I
we're
feel that. I
including
can feel
like
that.
if we're including like future context of knowing get character late in the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, like and also like the way uh the way she I I think what this goes for all the trailers. I love there's always one reoccurring shot slash theme in all the trailers is that there's always a moon behind them, and there's always a shot where they jump up and then they look down with and you see that the remnant moon behind them, and then they do the attack. That's like a reoccurring like motif they use throughout all the trailers, which I think is really fucking. I'm like, I was like when I see that jump, that's when I'm like,
It's over.
something's going down. It's gonna go down. Boom. All right. Yeah. So overall, is there what do you think about the trailer? Like, if you had to
Overall,
rate it, if
it's
you had to rate it, I guess for if we're just gonna be rating the trailers, just to how like where would you? What's the score and where would you rank it so far on the list for all the trailers?
well, if we're going with the motif of peak or trash, obviously peak side, no
Peak
debate.
side. Okay, easy peak.
It's being my first introduction to Ruby and um, showing me something I've never seen before. Oof. I'll give this one. Ooh, I gotta be really careful with my rankings. Without a
Ooh.
doubt, all these trailers are gonna be high.
Mhm.
Um, and through rewatching, I actually had to resort my list of which trailer I liked the most, which trailer I liked the least. Still love them,
Mhm.
but actually going in and analyzing these again, it changed. But I'll give Ruby a solid 9. I mean, I loved everything about it. I thought it was
Hell yeah.
fucking near perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah, not much to say. Just good shit.
I think we'll do the ranking stuff with all the trailers once we actually review every single. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we'll hold off. We'll hold off the ranking for all the trailers once we get through every single one of them. For
Okay.
me, mm, I put it. I put it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
I o-
Respectable.
I only say that because as cool as the red trailer, I have my own personal favorite, and I'll kind of explain why a little bit more. And if you want a little bit of bias to why this trailer is my personal favorite, but we'll discuss that when the time comes. But I think yeah,
It's all
it's
good.
a
That's your personal taste. That's your favorite. I'm not gonna be like, you can choose this trailer. You fucking jerk.
yeah,
This one's
you're
superior.
you're not a good reviewer.
Viewers can't have personal opinions and taste.
Oh, but if we're gonna use the topic of peak or trash, definite peak. Like
Of course.
like don't like by a mile. Alrighty, so let's move on to the white trailer. I was gonna say Weiss
Ooh,
trailer.
boy.
My bad. The white trailer was released on February 14th, 2013, right on Valentine's Day. Would you look
Oh
at that?
wow.
And it has. Let me look at the other trailers real quick.
This is the
It is
third
the
most viewed.
yeah third most viewed out of the trailer with 9 million reaching near 10 million views currently.
Let's get it
2023.
to 10 million. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's see. So I'm to summarize. If I had to summarize the trailer for the white trailer, you are introduced to the second member of Team Ruby. Her name is Waishni. I'll get more into like her actual character stuff once we do the volume one analysis. But yeah, in this trailer, she is putting on a show for what I can assume to be Atlas elites individuals just doing a performance for them. And it is while the show is happening, it is you also have it's also showing another moment where you see her fighting against a robot that her father created. I'm again, I only it's not explicitly said in the trailer, but it's kind of like told after the fact, like through the writer stuff, along with like future details they mention. The robot soldier that her father created called the Argigas Knight, and that's essentially her test to basically if she's capable of being a huntress. And that yeah, it's just kind of like those two scenes kind of going back and forth of her doing her in the present doing her concert, and then you have the past of her fighting the Armageddon Knight. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm just gonna call it the Robot Knight.
Robo Knight.
Beep boop beep boop Robo Knight. Let's see. So, what do you think about the trailer for the Weiss trailer? Because you said this was character design wise, this is one of your favorites.
Yes, I love Weiss' character design. And I will say, after rewatching all these,
Hmm.
this one's my number one.
Mm,
It's
really? Okay.
yes, after watching them all, this one's my number one. I even had to go back and watch again just because I liked it so much and loved it so much. There's there's a lot to see and just analyze about the trailer. And I'll start with the music. Mirror
Mhm.
Mirror. First off, fucking amazing song
Oh
as usual.
god. Love that song.
Mm, chef's kiss.
Mm,
And I like how the trailer, how it starts out with her singing to this crowd and talking about Mirror Mirror, who's the loneliest of them all. And I feel like that song can connect to the moment because, yes, there's
mhm,
people watching her and seeing her, and she's surrounded by people, but in the end, she still truly is lonely.
and
And
that's a big part of her character too, like, at least, motif-wise throughout all the songs, she she's has this she's struggling with her own loneliness slash isolation, the people in, from the people her own family as well as in Atlas as a whole.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll get to design in a bit
Mhm.
'cause I really like it. But I don't want to shoot to the end of the fight yet. I'll talk about the design.
Okay, okay.
Design, it's looking at her design, I can form an opinion, not an opinion, but basically just get a gist of the character in the snap of fingers. She's someone who's fine, who's classy, elegant, calculated, strong, and that again shows when she's fighting. And
Mm,
I like the little hints of red on the inside of her clothing because it makes the whole outfit pop more. Whether if it was just all white or a different color or just black, it wouldn't really pop as usual.
right.
And yeah, let's get to the fight. What do you have to say about the actual fight? Oh, indeed.
No,
Um,
again, I'm again, I'm letting a lot of the future volumes kinda, like, seep into when I'm reviewing it a little bit, so being a little if I'm letting that mess up my critique a little bit. But her fight scenes here, I'm it's been so long since I've seen her, like, fight using her rapier, like, actually
mhm,
see her use her weapon instead of just using it 'cause, if I like, later volumes, she just kinda uses dust and her talents a lot, which gets overshadowed because I kinda miss those, like, fights where you actually see her use her weapon as a rapier. And, yeah, and then what I really liked was, like, how swift and how swift and kinda, like, ruthless she is in the fight where she's like, whoosh, like a quick strike, like, she, like, moves a lot and she moves in straight lines a lot in the fight, like,
yeah,
I think well, that's only because it's assisted by her semblance in the series, which is glyphs, and she usually uses those glyphs to help maneuver herself to maneuver herself faster in the fight, so you see her, like thrust forward, quick strikes, and then that's what a rapier should be. It's not like it's not like a slashing weapon like Ruby's for Ruby she has to do a lot of wide swings, twirls, and angles, strikes. While for Weiss, her fighting style is more um thrust and quick like
fine.
little yeah, fine, like refined movements, quick strikes, thrusts, go in and out. Don't waste your time. Like, don't waste your time doing crazy over the top like flourish moves like Ruby would have. She's very straight to the point, very practical
Job
in a way.
done.
Yeah, and yeah, and what I liked about the fight is that you get to see. a lot of aspects of her character. Not only do you see her from, and mainly speaking from a fight scene standpoint, you get to see her proficiency with her weapon, her proficiency using a rapier. You see her utilize her glyphs, and you also near the end of the fight switched it up. She has dust in her weapon. And for those who don't know what dust is in the series, dust is this kind of form of energy that is either in dust form or in a form of crystal. And what dust are is that it's like elemental energy essentially in the powder. You can do stuff like fire, lightning, earth, they also done like gravity, which I don't know. I don't understand how that would work in a dust form, but hey, that's
Just
world
to
law.
work.
It just it just works. And yeah, she ends up using she ends up using dust in her fight, and how she uses dust in her fight is that she has a weapon called Myrtle Naster. I really hope I said it right. Myrtle Naster, where her weapon is a rapier, and it has a chamber, and like above the hand, around the hilt section of the rapier, there is a chamber where it rotates to different types of dust that allows her to use that she can use in battle. So she has like one fire, lightning, ice, earth,
Work.
gravity, all that cool stuff. So she managed. So when she got beat up by the robot, fucking clocked.
Fact.
She had to go back and rely on using dust, and you see the dust, and I think the really cool at the just to, like briefly stop real quick to talk about like weapon philosophy in Ruby. What I liked about a lot of the early weapons, the cool part is that you can actually see how the weapon works, like
Yes.
how like I think if there was ever a way to make there if there was a way to make it in real life, people can look at the weapon and find a way to get it to like have it function in real life and everything
I mean,
like that.
cosplayers already do an amazing job with that.
I
I've
kn-
seen Crest and Rose. I seen one where it's
oh yeah,
crows and it looked perfect.
oh yeah. Whew, God, and yeah, cosplayers, man, they are fucking talented knowing how to make
Shout out
like
to all my cosplayers, bro. Y'all are ruins.
respect. Anyways, yeah, like for her weapon, you can see like you have the revolver chamber in her hilt slash handguard area, and then fucking like, she swipes it, and then that's when she activates her ice ice dust to help freeze the. Actually, let me pull up the scene actually, just in case I'm not remembering. Uh, okay, nope, got the song. Sorry, I'm listening to the song. It's like boom.
No. I want to add a quick note before we get into the second half of the fight, and
Okay, of
just
course.
something I picked up. Uh, Start of the fight, um, when she's only using her weapons and a little bit of her glues when she's singing.
Hmm.
The start of the song is pretty slow paced, and I like the little detail of when she's getting rocked.
Hmm.
Um,
Bodied.
yeah, it's like the stage disappears, spotlight cuts out, like the show is over,
Hmm.
and she gets like this song hits us with this beautiful fucking high note. I can't sing. I'm not gonna try. But with that, that's when she enters her zone and kicks it
Hmm.
into gear using everything in her arsenal, the glyphs, her weapon, the dust, and even using the knight itself and its
Hmm.
attacks to get closer. And near the end of the song, when the applause happens, it's like she's waking up.
It's like
She's back in reality.
snap back to reality.
Oh, there
Sorry.
goes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The moment I was like, don't say it. Don't say it. I'm saying
Don't
it.
say it, don't say it.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially since again when the switch happens where I think the cool part not like the cool part is where in the fight she got an injury from the arm Gigas Knight where she has like a cut across her left eye. And then when you see her look up on the last line where she says, "I'm the loneliest of all," you see her look up, fresh blood from the fight. Just you see the extent of the fight where you see she has like a scar across her eye, and then the song kind of like kind of like slows down to descend, and you see like the crowd is cheering. They're like, "Yeah, why?" And then and then the look on her face where she like even when she's surrounded by a crowd of people, she still like she still feels alone and isolated in the world.
Final shot. I, there's so much I like about the trailer. The
Mm,
final shot ends with her curtsying, bowing, and the curtain closes on us, like we're outsiders watching. Like
mhm,
we don't really know who she is or anything about her. Like the song and how the trailer is telling us she's lonely. No one understands her,
mhm.
and
And that's
I
kind
see
of a
that as our perspective of the whole thing. We're along with crowd, just enjoying the show.
mhm. And that's also kind of a theme they kind of explored in volume 1 a bit because everyone has a specific impression of her because of her status as a Schnee. Mostly negative, but we'll talk more about that later. But then I think that theme does apply somewhat for Weiss in volume 1. So, but yeah, this trailer really, I think it really showcases the theme of isolation that she goes through, along with like her own struggles. Not revealed to the full extent until the series. We get a hint of it, which kind of draws us into like what makes her to kind of draws us into her character and what to look forward to. Hey, hello, Max.
I'm here.
Okay,
Did my
I
mic cut?
thought
I got scared. I thought my mic. I'm like, oh no.
I thought your mic cut out
I'm
too.
just
You're
listening to you. You're good. You're good.
all right,
You're
cool,
good.
cool. That's all I wanted to say. But
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, this is a this I think this is a really good trailer. I think out of I would say music wise, all of them, I enjoyed Weiss's music the most. If we were to get Mirror Mirror, that's probably one of my favorite songs out of all the trailers. Alrighty. So so let's figure out is this peak or trash? Is Ruby white trailer peak or trash? Max?
You know my answer is fucking trash. I'm kidding.
This shit's
Okay. Okay.
garbage. Get this shit out of here. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Easy peak. Of course. Easy peak.
Uh,
Um, Rewatching and going back. This is, yeah, honestly, score wise, this is a 10 for me.
this is a 10. Okay. Wait, score wise? Oh, so you're putting this above Ruby the red trailer so far, right?
Yes, this is a 10 for me.
Ooh, okay, okay. Alrighty. So let's see. If I had a
I actually
score.
may have to agree. Sorry, I may have to agree on your take with Ruby. I'll take Ruby down to an 8.
Oh,
An 8.
dang.
It's
Okay.
still good. It's
All
still
right.
good, but the more we go on through the show, it's more like maybe I'll hold off, not giving
Mm,
a 9 yet because I think I have a decent idea or slot where all these trailers go in the scoring list. But yeah, that's
mhm.
my take. Continue. Sorry.
All right. Now you're good. Let's see. Peak or trash? Definitely peak. Not no issues there. If I had to score this, I'd I actually don't know. I'd probably put it on the same score as Ruby. If you want me to be cheap, I'll put like an 8.5 for the white trailer. I'm sorry if I'm being a little cheesy, but
I'll put it point
I think
7.
okay, I think as iconic as the red trailer was, I think from a narrative standpoint, along with the already amazing music and action and stuff involved, I think having that hint like adding a sprinkle of that narrative makes it better personally. Makes it better for me to enjoy. So I would put I think I put red trailer and I put the white trailer so far above the red trailer. All right.
Valid.
Get ready for the Ruby crowd to argue with us.
We're going to
What
be
you like the white trailer or the red trailer?
we're gonna be hung by the stake,
Burned at the stake like
burned at the stake.
Jean and Joan of. All right,
Spoiler, spoiler. I'm kidding.
I mean, we don't even know if it's gonna happen in Volume 9. That's just my
Yeah,
little crack theory. Okay, but
we'll get there when we get there.
we get there when we get there. Alrighty. So moving on to the Black trailer.
The blue
Black
trailer.
trailer. Yeah, Black trailer was released on March 22nd, 2013, and it is sadly the lowest viewed trailer out of all four colored trailers, only having 8 million, roughly 8 million, 9 million views.
Still a lot, but
Still a lot, but like compared to everyone else, um, like it's not as strong on the viewing. So, what do you think about the Black trailer?
going back and watching this trailer, first I'll say this.
Mhm.
Out of all the songs from the trailers, From Shadows is my favorite. Easily.
Really? I th
Yes, From
I thought you
Shadows is
said
my
I thought you
favorite.
said Mirror Mirror was your favorite.
Mirror Mirror is my favorite trailer. From just
Okay.
songs alone, from songs alone, I'll say From Shadows. If I did say Mirror Mirror was my favorite, I apologize. From Shadows, my definite favorite song out of all the trailers. But I like to call this, and people are gonna kill me. I like to call this the Adam trailer. Because I'll be real,
Oh,
Adam gets the same, if not a little bit more screen time and shine than Blake.
relevance. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
because
a ooh.
you mentioned the moonshots and everything. There's
Yeah.
that 6 shot in the middle where, um, Adam, takes a hit from the giant robot and slices
Mhm.
it, and then colors become more saturated, you see the outlines, you see the moon, and I'm like, "Who's this trailer about again?"
It should have been Blake's moonshot, okay? Why
You got a
Adam,
moonshot.
why are you taking this trailer, Adam?
Adam took the thunder, but,
Uh,
still loved it. Um, fighting fighting for this trailer specifically reminded me of a fighting game
oh,
where it's
which
just
one?
combos.
Which one?
What do you mean?
Like which fighting game?
Oh, cross tag. Just because like
Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
they're in and out, when they fight, it's like I say, it's a dance. They're going back and forth, switching out, and just this fight out of all of them reminded me most of just fighting in combos, which is funny, and it
Mhm.
looked cool, it looked badass.
And I think the benefit this time around is that since it's Blake and Adam together in the scene, you get to see both of them coordinate as a duo for this, and it kind of it really becomes more like a dance this time around.
Yeah.
Especially since I think yeah, this trailer is the first to like include other like human looking characters in the trailers to kind of like incorporate and like do a dance within the fight because like the last two trailers were just like mob characters like you have Ruby with the Grim Beowulfs and you have the white trailer which is like a big giant robot thing. So I think yeah, I think having a partner in a fight scene or a human enemy helps get more out of the fight, get a lot more out of the fight scenes. And anything else you want to mention? Maybe character design, characters.
And back to Adam, I thought he was an absolute badass. Like,
Beast.
going back to when I was first watching the trailers, he is one of the characters I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's sick as fuck." Like, basic not basic, but drew me in for what I liked. Badass guy with a tux, all black, cool mask, and a cool ass sword. Like,
So Edgelord.
middle school me was seething. Yeah.
Edgelord. Ah.
And, this, uh, this trailer was the most serious for me, raised the most questions as to
Mhm.
like, why
Especially
are they
since
robbing a train? What's with this symbol on this guy's back? Why are they biting these robots? Why do they need this stuff so much?
I think also like this is the first trailer where they had like actual like they had voice actors involved. Let me see. Let me double check real quick. I know Aaron Zek voices Blake Belladonna in here. Who voices voices Adam this time. Oops. Not Adam
Adam in this
Ellis.
trailer does not sound like the Adam we got in the later seasons.
Let's see. Uh, he's voiced by Garrett Hunter. Adam voiced by Adam Torres. Maybe for this trailer it's voiced by someone else, but we don't know that. But you know, um, yeah, it's fully voice acted this time around. So actually, let me summarize the scenes since I did not do that yet. So
Yeah,
we
by the way.
follow, yeah, we follow Blake Belladonna and Adam Torres in the Forever Fall Forest where they are intercepting a Dust Company train, and when they intercept it, their plan is to essentially just rob the train along with setting some charges up, which does not fly well for Blake because Blake was worried about the passengers involved. They're innocent. They're innocent in the robbery, while Adam Torres, you get a hint of his kind of characterization where he didn't really care about the innocent lives involved. He says, I think she even says, there's a dialogue that says, um, like, "Blake, set the charges. What about the passengers? What about the passengers?" And then he does that to
What
show, like,
about
what about them? He
skill
doesn't
issue?
to show, like, skill issue. So, yeah, we kinda get a characterization. They're both fighting for some kinda cause, which we will elaborate a future.
Mhm.
And, Blake, as much as she as much her Blake's she doesn't necessarily uh, agree with the methods that Adam Torres is taking. Well, Adam Torres, he seems very okay or keen with, like, yeah, if we need to do if we like we'll let people die if it means achieving our goal. And I think I should probably include this, but they in the series there are a group of people called faunuses. Faunuses are they are humans that have animal-like qualities to them. So they have some you see some humans that have like cat ears and like wolf tail or something like that. So they have a quality that would make that animalistic quality. They have animal qualities like on them. And both Blake and Adam are faunuses, Blake being a cat faunus and Adam being a bull. Yeah, he's a bull. And he has like tusks on his head that's kind of hidden in his like hair. And they are part of a group called the White Fang, which are the big bad, I guess, part of the big bad of the season, where they are a faunus rights group that are like fighting for their rights, but they kind of took a dark turn and became a terroristic group, which I'll talk more about that in the future. But
Where
that
we
kind
get quite a
of
bit to say about that.
all right, yeah, okay. If you can tell from my voice, but again, we'll talk about that when we get to volume one. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that gives a little bit more context to why they're here. They're part of the White Fang, and they're doing their job to basically intercept the She Does Company cargo, and they triggered a bunch of robots, and now they're fighting robots, being badass and cool. And the scene and the trailer ends with Blake not to run away and says, I'm not doing this anymore." Cuts the train, decouples the train, and leaves Adam in the dust. And, well, she separates from
That's a good one.
him. Wait, what's up?
Left Adam in the dust.
Ah! Sorry, I didn't even realize the joke.
That's a good one.
Okay, that was not intentional. That was my bad. So, alright, so, yeah, sorry. Now that we got that out of the way and we talked about some character designs, what do you think about the fight scenes?
The fight scenes. Ooh. I know we're doing our best not to tie to the later seasons, but I feel like I have to bring this up, and it's Blake's weapon, Gamble Shroud.
Campbell Shroud.
I love how she uses the whip part of this in the trailer, and I feel like
Oh,
we see less and less in that the more we go on.
yeah.
Where
Okay,
again,
yeah.
like the same with Ruby, she uses the momentum of the shots and the recoil to add amp and change the
Power.
trajectory of her weapon and add power, yeah.
Mhm.
And again,
Uh,
the impact will like I'm feeling all these hits. I'm like, ooh, ooh. And it's a very unique way to use the weapon, like something I'd never fucking seen before. I was like, oh wow, that's fucking badass.
mhm. Yeah, and then I think the funny thing is for Blake's weapon, Gamble Shroud, for those who don't know, Gamble Shroud is a katana that has a ribbon attached to it to where she can transform it into a pistol, turn her katana into a pistol, so she can use it to like, kind of like, she mainly uses it to like Spider-Man people around, like fucking slide like swinging around, traversing the environment. But she also uses it as in earlier volumes, you see her use it like in a way to like reach far, like to hit far away targets, and then kind of like pull them to- pull them towards her, or like or she can like tie them up, or do a lot of cool things. I completely forgot as a sheath, which is actually supposed to be like a cleaver. Like it's a sheath, like she has a sheath for it, and it becomes a chopping weapon instead of a slicing weapon like a katana would.
Really?
Yeah, like in the trailer, she used like when she has the katana separated from her sheath, she uses the sheath as like a cleaver kind of style weapon to like where she can like she duels it. And I completely forgot about that aspect of the weapon. I just thought it was just a sheath, but like no,
I'm like, no.
it's actually like it's another form of her weapon where it becomes basically like a cleaver chopping weapon instead of a slicing weapon. Like, so I'm like, I completely forgot about that. That's because
Oh boy.
they barely ever use have Blake use the cleaver part of her weapon that's the sheath anymore. She just kinda uses the sword. In the later volume, she either uses the sword as a sword, use the ribbons as a way to traverse, and use pistol as pistol. She uses very later in the volume, she uses a very separate, and
Very
it's not as
streamlined approach,
very
not as
streamlined approach. Yeah, exactly. So here, I kinda miss how, like, she utilizes all aspects of her weapon. Again, weapons are an extension of yourselves, and she uses every part of her weapon to her advantage. Like you see her like dual wielding, and then when she can't reach a certain target, she would use the whip and turn it to a pistol, so she can like whip around and swing the weapon around. And I know they do that now. And she kind of started using that aspect of her weapon in Volume 9. I think from the more recent episodes, but, like, it's been a long time since I've seen her use her weapon like that, so I'm kinda, like, being brought back, like, "Damn, that's how she used her weapon. It's so different." But, yeah, and then Adam's fight. Adam's weapon, I think it's
shit.
called sheesh! It's I think it's called Wilted Rose? I'm correct me if I'm wrong later if I am, but Wilted Rose, he basically has a katana where his sheath is also a shotgun. Like it holds like a shotgun round. It holds like shotgun rounds where you can fire it from the
Sorry to
sheath.
interrupt. Correction, it's Wilt and Blush.
Wilted,
Wilt
gilded,
and Blush.
wilt and blush.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fuck, I'm wrong. Wait, then what the
You're
fuck
close.
is wilted? What the fuck is wilted?
You know what the fuck a Wilt is.
It's probably a crappy ship name for Adam and Ruby or something.
Okay, no, we're not bringing up shipping at all.
No.
Moving
Okay,
on.
no. Sorry. That game kind of came up. Okay, but yeah, like what I like about him is that I mean, as I think out of all the weapons currently showed in the trailer, his is probably the most like simple one in a way. Cause but even though it's so simple, it still looks really cool because you see him like in the fight, he would shoot his shotgun, his shotgun holster, his shotgun sheath, and to like launch his sword at an opponent, so it hits him in the face with the with the butt of the weapon, and he catches it and
I
starts like
thought that was
chopping people.
disrespectful.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's pretty badass. And later in the later in the later in the trailer, you see him use the blade to take on a full hit from like a spider droid essentially. And, like he uses the sword to like take in as take on as much damage, mitigate as much damage as possible before like pulling a fucking like anime swordsman just fucking slice and then destroy the spider droid robot.
It's a good Tensho.
Mm-hmm. Getsu Bankai Getsu ga Tesho! I really hope I didn't peak, but you know what? I don't care.
You definitely peaked, but who cares?
Well, we're called Peak or Trash Podcast for a reason.
Ah,
Uh okay, sorry. Yeah, and then the fight, and then so yeah, his fights are like really like even though he's using a sword, there's like a level of brutality involved, and and surprisingly, he also uses a lot of kicks too in his fights. Like you know what I mean when I say like he uses a lot of kicks in his fight.
using his whole arsenal, not just his weapon.
Yeah, like there's scenes where like like I think after like Blake kind of like turns a weapon to the ribbon form and starts like swinging it around, you see him like take advantage of Blake's like capitalizing on Blake's ribbons and like like start kicking and taking down people, like kicking people down and not requiring having to use not necessarily always having to use his weapon.
Bro has
And
he does a whole ass rider kick. I'm looking at it right now.
Rider kick. Whoosh. Dun 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 dun. Sorry, that's for another time. And let's see. I think and then yeah, this a lot this trailer is a lot more plot driven, so I think it's engaging. It's still pretty cool. And I think another cool part I really like about uh the black trailer, that when we're not inside the train where it's the actual like forever fall forest, the red where you see like the red trees, it looks fucking beautiful. I love the scenery this time around. I think if I had to, out of all the trailers we currently saw so far, this probably has the best scenery, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Alrighty. Anything else you want to mention about the Black trailer that you?
Mm, I do want to mention the voice acting
Oh,
because
it's a little rough.
it's rough, but it's understandable because
They just
first
started out.
it's just started. I'm not going to be like it has to be pure quality. It has to be fucking
It's just
Jotaro versus Dio level of amazing voice acting. Uh,
Jotaro.
Ew.
Oh, Motte Kuni no Ko. That's all I remember.
This is the Ruby stream.
Mm.
sorry, sorry.
What's up?
This is the Ruby stream. Okay, we'll get to Dio and Jotaro and JoJo another time.
Honestly, I'd rather be watching JoJo right now, man. I'm
Okay, why are
sorry.
you running this? Like the trailers aren't that bad. Well, they're not bad at all. Let me correct myself. Uh,
Uh, I have my opinions on Volume 1, but we'll get to that when the time
yeah,
again. Um, yeah, I have the Black trailer. It's it's pretty good. I just think there are again. I think there's some. I think this time around there are some things that are kind of bogging it down a little bit. Voice acting is one of them. And I think I think I enjoyed a lot of the fight if it was outside of the train, but since we were inside the train, it was kind of hard. It was like it wasn't really interesting as a location, as well as like it makes the fight just slightly a little bit harder to see because everyone's wearing black. So
train fights are kind of hard to do because there's only so much you can do and
in a limited
move
space.
around in a limited space. Yeah,
But you
but
know what?
for a
For
train
the
fight,
limited
they did
space
a
they have,
solid job.
I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. For limited space they had, they did fucking stellar with it.
Mhm. And then again, I think that the big issue was Adam taking a lot of the screen time, like because this should be a Blake trailer, but Adam kind of stole the show.
I fully agree.
I'm not saying that Adam is not cool, but I'm just saying I think for the purposes of trying to show off Blake, I think Blake got a little bit sidelined in this trailer, so it's a little bit of a weaker trailer compared to Ruby, the red trailer and white trailer.
He could have made that jump in the end. By the way, he had plenty of time.
What's up?
He could have made that jump in the end when Blake
I
cuts off the
know.
train. He had
he's like,
plenty of fucking
he's
time.
like, I mean, he'll be like, I could just jump over to you, right? And like, well, shit. Well, you're trying to betray the cause. I'm gonna. I'm kidding. I know it's more like dramatic tension and shit, but like, it's whatever.
Goodbye, and hello there.
Hello there. I should not be making any Star Wars jokes since I haven't watched the prequel series yet.
No, I will allow it because, they're goated. We'll get you on them one day, don't fret.
There's so many shows that I need to get. Attack on Titan is one of them.
Me too. There's so many shows I have to watch too.
All right.
Daredevil, fucking yeah,
Oh
there's a
yeah,
lot.
we gotta watch. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. Talking about films, other film aside instead of Ruby. Max, what's your score? Do you think this is peak or do you think this is trash?
Nowhere near trash at all. This is definitely on the peak side.
Okay.
But out of all
Mm.
the trailers, score-wise, oh shit. This one's really hard to rank because when it comes to the trailer itself, how the story is trying to tell and how Adam takes the spotlight, most if not all the trailer. I can't rate it as high, but I love From Shadows so much.
From
So
shadow
it's catchy as fuck. It's my favorite song.
will descend upon the.
Take back what you stole. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah. This might come as a surprise. I'll give it a 7.5.
7.5.
It's
Uh,
still good. Don't get
mhm.
me wrong. It's still a really good trailer. But no, just out of all of them, it's just I wish it was just centered around Blake more.
Yeah. I feel like that's a reoccurring theme with the early Ruby, I'll be honest.
Mhm.
Male characters taking up the screen time that should be the female characters.
Yeah, the
The
side
our
characters take
female
up the
led
spotlight.
team. Yeah. All right. No, I will elaborate more in the future, but
Yeah, we'll get to that when we get
we'll
there.
get to that. We'll get there when we get there. All right, yeah. My score, definite not trash. For sure it's not trash. Peak, but I wouldn't say this has a strong showing compared to red and white trailer. If I had to give a score, I would give it probably a 7 out of 10. And okay, if I had to do a score, if we're trying to like for score wise, anything 7 out of 10 or higher, it's good. 5 to 6 out of 10 is average, not average, and 4 downwards, that's just it's mostly bad.
Dog water at 0. Absolute
Doggy
dog
doo
water
doo.
0.
Yep. Yeah, so it's yeah, 7 out of 10. I think it's still a good trailer, but I think there are some aspects of the trailer like that, such as having the fight be kind of restrained at one point, being in a train, along with some of the voice acting and Adam's. The big issue being Adam taking up a lot of the screen time that should be given for Blake to help kind of like make her shine a little bit more. He even stole the fucking moonshot, and that ain't cool. That ain't
My
cool at all, Chief.
shot.
My moon, you stole my moonshot. And yeah, if I had to rank it, I'd probably put that at the bottom out of all the trailers. So far, it's white, red, and black. I put black at the bottom, and that means you know what my favorite one is.
Here we go.
Sorry, I'll
The
stop.
yellow trailer.
The
Fucking
yellow trailer. Let's see. So the yellow trailer, it was released on June 1st, 2013, and it is the second highest rated yellow Ruby trailer with 11 million views, which is 5 million short from the original red trailer. But okay. If you had to ask me who my
Ooh
favorite
boy.
if you had to ask me who my favorite character is out of out of the 4 main female leads, is definitely Yang.
Bang gang.
Hmm. Um. Okay. So, all right. Let me get the general synopsis of the trailer out of the way. So we follow Yang Xiaolong, half sister Ruby Rose, and Yang Xiaolong. She visits a club. It's a club where she's trying to get information about a specific woman she's looking for, and it leads to some issues where you have the bar owner named Junior, um, like not being able to give her what she wants, and then it leads into fight scene. and that's about it. She just basically just
It's a
if I
full-on
just
bar fight, bro.
it's a full on bar fight, and yeah. Let's talk about if we're gonna talk about character design, if you don't mind me like interjecting for character
Go
design for
for it.
you.
No, you pop off.
I I'd say out of all the character design, I think Yang is probably the weakest, in my opinion. I say that because uh I for a lot of the other characters like Ruby, Weiss, and Blake, they still have you still get a sense of their primary colors shown on the clothing. While for Yang, she just wears a lot of brown and then just like hints of yellow, which I get because yellow can be a little bit overbearing on the design. But I will say like her design's a little bit on the basic side in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's besides that. Then again, her I think her biggest feature, her hair, is what kind of makes her
Oh,
pop
them
out as a
eyes.
character. And she got and uh fuck. I think what I love about the trailer is that you get out of all the characters, you get to see a lot more personality involved in the trailer where she's like really like she's playful, she's smug, and then like and I think it also even show I think even in her song I Burn, which it shows they kind of show it later in the episode where she's at her hype moment because I think like for most of the song, it's just kind of recounting. It's like a it's a club remix version of the previous song, but
Red Light Ghost is in from Shadows. I was
from
like,
Shadows
just
and a Mirror Mirror too.
oh yeah.
So it's like a club remix version. So so in her song it goes like, "Come at me and you'll see I'm more than meets the eye." And then so yeah, like again it talks more about who you gotta get a hint. The song helps get a hint of who she is as a character. People I think I'm pretty sure a lot of people think she's like beautiful and sexy, and like she's everyone kind of has a specific image of her because but then but then the song kind of hints, yeah, like even though I look beautiful, I'm more than just my looks. I'm more than what you think. I'm more than meets the eye. And then yeah, you see her. I get a lot of her I like a lot. You get a lot of her personality and nature in this fight, which I really enjoyed, and it also shows in the fight scene. Whoo, the fight scene! Love it. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I'm big on boxing. I love boxing. I like seeing hand to hand combat when it comes to like movies and shit. So when they see it when it's done right, it hits. Sorry. So
He's done right.
what? Sorry, I should let you talk. I should let you talk. So, what do you think about the yellow trailer?
A lot. Off the
Uh,
bat,
okay.
within just the first 5-10 seconds, it show us what kind of character Yang is. A confident, badass, hot, upbeat. She out of everybody and out of all the trailers, from my personal opinion, she had the most presence. She's like,
Hmm.
I'm her. I am the one.
I'm a
And
bad bitch. You
I'm a
can't kill
bad
me.
bitch. And of course, middle school me was seething. I was
Ugh. No,
losing my
like
shit.
jaw drop, like, oh,
Yeah, jaw dropped to
oh.
the floor like some Tom and Jerry Looney Tune shit.
I'm
And
not even gonna deny. I'm pretty. Like, I. Mm. I'm sorry.
okay,
She's drop dead gorgeous. Sorry, that's all
yeah.
I'm gonna say.
And
And young me really like that.
young me really liked it too. Young me really liked it too. Um,
Sorry, I'm a
I
little
love the
thirsty
shot
right
where
now.
I can tell.
Sorry,
um,
continue.
yeah, young me. No, not young me anymore. Me right now. I I love the shot when she's coming into the club and it's literally just the outline of her hair, which
Mm,
kind of helps with like how we talked about the design. This gives you a clear indication of
this is
what's the
very
most accentuating. Is that the word? Incentuating? The most
essential, important,
most
prominent.
important thing
Yeah,
about her design. Yeah,
I think
is her hair.
accentuating is different.
I
Definition.
know. I'm bound my
Accentuate.
words.
Yeah, no, it works. Making it make more noticeable or prominent. So now we're good.
Okay, accentuating, most accentuating part about her. Thank you.
Mhm,
And I'll get to this in like a few seconds, but
okay.
walks in the club, walks up to our boy Junior, and just
Well, no, he's not really our boy. He's a bitch, man.
he's a pedo when I think about it, because
Oh
he wanted to
yeah,
kiss
fucking in the
a
trailer,
17-year-old girl. He is I'm
probably in
going to
his
assume he's in
30s.
his 30s, 40s, 'cause there's no high school who has a beard like that. Maybe,
Unless
but
laws are different. The age of consent is 13.
he's affiliated with gangs and he runs a club.
I
That
don't
is
think
hard to believe.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, if he already broke those laws, I don't think breaking the age of consent law is gonna be much of a much, but that would already make any difference on his long list of crimes
Yeah,
he already committed.
I just wanted to bring that up. Hashtag
I know.
Junior's a pedo.
Get him canceled.
Get him canceled. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
With that leading up, fucking sick ass punch as they're about to kiss. I love this shot. It's still laughing. He goes flying and everything breaks loose. So,
Oh
what do you
wait,
think
wait,
about this fight?
which shot? Which are you talking about?
When they're about to go in for the kiss and Yang just gives him the fucking like
Oh
hook.
yeah, she's like, let's kiss and make up. Okay,
I mean,
bam. All right. If what I really like, okay, again, I'm letting a lot of the future volume kind of affect me in what I think about on my analysis for the trailer. What I really loved is that in the fight scene, you get to really see how her body moves as she like swings each punch. I think
mhm,
like it shows a lot of it shows again proficiency in her in hand to hand combat, and I'm big on footwork, and she has amazing footwork. Like you see her you see her shifting her foot when she's winding for a punch, and like she's like you see her dodging and weaving. That you don't, I don't think I really ever see her do like any of those things anymore. Because I think in later volumes it's a lot of like swinging, a lot of shooting her gun and like doing aura style punches, which is yeah,
there's a lot more technique
yeah, a
in
lot more tech.
these trailers than in the future, which is what I like.
And then, me and Max, we done some boxing. We kind of have like a basic understanding of how like boxing works. And you see, and what I like is that again, a lot like footwork's really good. I'm so glad that Monty really captured like footwork in in hand to hand combat, because I'm not sure if people really like realize how important footwork is to in martial arts slash boxing, because because if you don't have the right footwork, you're not gonna get the full extent of you're not getting enough out of your punches, along with like you're like you're gonna risk injury if you don't know how to stand and do your footwork correctly. And along with that, her weapons, Ember Celica. For those who don't know, Ember Celica is a shotgun gauntlet where it's around her wrist, and she can like shoot like shotgun rounds and all that cool stuff. And if I had to say, out of all the weapons that I would want in life, Ember Celica is one of them. Ember Celica is the one I want to wield.
That
I love,
goes hard,
yeah,
bro.
because what I really liked about how like her weapons really used here is that again, it has the same philosophy as Ruby, where she uses her shotguns to help propel herself and give her punches and kicks and any physical action she does more like oomph and power. And yeah, you see her you see her punching, you see her firing her gun while punching, and then you see her use the momentum of the shotgun to push herself forward to kick someone in the face, knee them. And I think there's even a shot where when she launches herself towards the discount marshmallow DJ dude, and kind of like hops over the table, and then she like slams him into slams him nearby wall, and then uses shotgun force to propel her body forward to slam the DJ guy's head even harder. Actually, let me see that real quick.
Goes in for a kick, slams even harder, and uses them again to send him flying back to the stage.
Mhm. And oh yeah, the over the head throw, and then she just fires and to launch it forward. That's yeah, again, I don't see that level of, like, proficiency in the later volumes, which makes me sad because when I watch these, I'm like, these have like, even though they're trailers, they have so much detail and it show and her you get to see a lot of her, like, personality and way of fighting, in her, like, philosophy in fighting in her fights, and it's really cool. And then I think all oh yeah, y'all can't forget, you always gotta have the moonshot. The start of the fight, they have the moonshot start at the beginning of the fight where she jumps up in the air and then winks and then boom, and then the whole fucking room just like
Strike.
shoo, like a sound wave situation across the floor.
Yeah.
Don't know how that works in real life, but I'm not gonna question because trailer.
It looks thick as fuck.
It looks sick as fuck, that's what matters. And, yeah, there's 2 other characters that are introduced, the Melchetti twins,
It's
Milsha.
machete.
They're one-off
Jet.
characters, honestly, I don't
Mill and Melanie. Mill and Melanie. That.
Mill and Melanie, Milsha and Melanie, yeah. So, yeah, again, like, when, between her fight, along with in her fights, what I really there was this scene I really liked where you see Yang kicking. You know how rare it is to see Yang kick anymore? Yang
Yeah.
barely fucking kicks in her fights, but in this trailer, she's using her whole body. That's the cool part because that's like she's not just or punching her way out. She uses her whole body. She does kicks. She blocks with her kick. Even though she's not as proficient as maybe some of the other characters who are well known for for kickboxing and stuff like Mercury and even Melanie. I think the one wearing white. I don't know who's
Melanie's the
who.
one wearing white. Mill's the
Melanie's
one wearing red.
gotcha. So Melanie, she's more efficient in kicks, obviously compared to Yang, but like you still see Yang being like using all the techniques and everything she knows to fight. And I think because and again knowing Monty's like love for action slash martial arts film, this shows like you get to see the influence kind of seep into here with like a little bit of Bruce Lee, a little bit of Jet Li style fighting, like really like swift movements. And then there's like a shot I don't think people really enjoy, but I personally enjoy. I gotta pull it up. But like there's a
Okay.
scene where I I think it's just between hold on, I gotta watch the trailer real quick.
I think I know
Skip.
exactly which one you're talking about. There's a specific
Oh yeah.
sequence I like.
So
Really
so
like in
around
this fight.
Yeah, so around the 3-minute 57 mark where you get an
Yeah.
overhead shot where you see, like, them kicking and blocking each other. I love the shots where you see, like, Yang in order to, like, meet to help, like, have full range of her movement and body, she switches stance to help block to
Yes.
she switches stances, and that's I'm like, "That's it, that's
Well, I
good."
love it.
I love it, that's and, like that level of, like, proficiency, that's what I liked about the footwork. That was, like I'm so glad he added that detail in there, and it just makes me so sad that that level of detail and refinery in Yang's original fighting style is not shown in any more later season, which makes me
Another small detail is specifically when she's taking on the twins, where she's getting beat up a little bit
mhm,
when she's about to unleash a really powerful attack, like kind of taking in the attacks, like using her semblance, her hair glows.
close.
And I love that because I know this is going to fucking hurt.
And then her eyes turn red, that's when it's, like, maximum power,
Yep. Super
and
Saiyan
then
God.
after, Yang fights Melanie and Milsha, she fights, Junior, and he gets some pretty good hits. He has a weapon, which is a rocket launcher that turns into a club, which is kinda cool. It's pretty cool, actually, a little for me.
Although it's cool, bro got the worst of it. He got sent back to the manga.
Yeah.
He literally got sent back. It changes to white and black.
Oh god. I mean now. Well, he fucking like a handful of her hair out, and that fucking pisses her off.
Mm.
And then yeah. So, and then the cool part is like around like that's when the song transitions from Melanie to the Melanie fight to Junior's fight. You see the song transition to her actual like song I Burn, which is in my favorite song out of all the trailers.
Respect,
I
respect.
burn. I even in the past I would listen to that at the gym and I'm like, yeah, let's go. It pumps me up and it's really fucking cool. And then again, love the details where when she's weaving, you see her guarding her face is
Mhm.
out in the open. She guards her face, and then when she moves left to right, she adjusts her guard so to be ready if Junior tries to hit her while she's moving around. And then, oh my god, ah, it's and I burn, and then the I burn right. That's when her like full like the I burn beat drop right when she punches. Oh god, music. And
Y'all can
then
tell we really like this trailer.
I really fucking love this trailer so much. Okay. Uh, whew, sorry, I need to calm down. I
You're
again,
good,
I'm
you're
like,
good.
I
No,
love.
get hype, get hype.
I'm a big sucker for like hand to hand combat. So Yang, fucking in this trailer, like I'm like,
I love this
so
fight. Just choreography itself,
mhm,
cinematography,
it's
it's
fucking amazing.
chef's kiss.
Hmm. Alrighty, so Max, what is your
Yeah.
rating? Is this peak or is it trash?
We don't even have to say it at this point, bro. Obvious peak.
Yay!
Obvious peak. And if
Mhm.
I'm plugging this into the moist meat, I mean my scoring list.
The moist
Um,
meter.
this is going to go at 9 for me.
A nine.
This
A
is going
nine.
to go at
Hell yeah.
9. This is a really good fucking trailer. Again, next to which we'll get to like ranking them like most favorite to least favorite. You can probably guess my list by now, but this one's up there. Like,
Because you put the white trailer on top, right?
yes,
Right. So far as white, I'm assuming a white trailer, yellow trailer, red, and black.
yes, that is my order from most favorite to least favorite.
Again,
And again, they're all fucking banger.
hmm again, I'm a little bit biased, but I don't care
Mhm,
because I don't think there's ever gonna be a review. I'll make that have a little bit of biases involved. But
mhm.
Yang, peak or trash, obvious peak, and she's a 10 out of 10. One of my favorite trailers, the best trailer in my opinion. And I'm
Again,
putting it on the list.
opinion, opinion.
Opinion. The right opinion, but opinion nonetheless. I would in the list of trailers, I put the yellow trailer on. I put the yellow trailer as first, but white trailer at second. Yeah, yeah, white, yeah, same ranking as you actually. Yellow, white, red, and black.
Switch white, yellow. Yeah.
Oh, you switched white. Yeah, okay, you switched white. Right, I
White's
forgot.
number one. White's number
White's number one. I'm okay. I forgot. But like outside of the first two being switched, it's pretty similar.
What's
Oh,
funny?
what's up? What's funny?
My ranking ties into how much I like the characters,
Hmm.
where Weiss being my favorite, and then Blake being my least favorite. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. It's okay. It's
We'll
okay.
get there when we get there. Alrighty, so now we got the trailers out of the way. We are going to review Volume One of RWBY.
Damn, how
So
long did that take? Holy shit.
that was we started at 12:30, so it's like rough. We like did like maybe like an hour and a half so far.
All right,
We
let's
got some
get
time.
it.
We got time. We got time. Um, how we're gonna review the volumes in general. For this one, we're gonna break them down by arcs. So we're gonna start off with breaking down the first episode, and once we give our thoughts and whatnot on the first episode, we'll cover each of them by arc. So we'll have the the initiation test arc. You have the little two mini episode the two mini episodes between Ruby and Weiss, and then you have the arc between for Jean, and then I'll give you my thoughts on that arc, and and then the last arc episodes with the White Fang. So we're gonna break, so that way we don't have to like individually go episode by episode, especially since a lot of the early volumes of the early episodes of Ruby, they're really short. Like they're not smashed together. Like I feel like they should be smashed together, but I don't know if it's like an animation slash time slash budget issue, but like they had to split the episode up so they can get like a quantity amount out and not have to like take too much time to render and stuff. Oh, and fun fact I want to mention, from volume 1 through 3 they used a animation system called Poser 2014, and they used that engine for a while until volume 4 they switched to the Maya engine. So, thought I should thought I should drop that news on there. So, that out of the way, we have the first episode of Ruby volume 1, and the scene starts with well, actually, like, let me actually pull up volume 1 so I can, like, remember. So the scene starts with a narration where they talk about how mankind was born, with this world where creatures of Grimm were basically hunting them down, and only humanity only survived through this resource called dust. And with that exposition, it leads into, one of the main villain for volume 1, his name is Roman Schwick. He leads his own gang where him and his gang raid this dust shop, and in this dust shop, we meet our main character, Ruby Rose. And Ruby Rose, being Ruby Rose, kicks everyone's asses and tries to fight Roman and hunt him down. But Roman gets manages to get away and almost kills Ruby if it wasn't the intervention of a huntress from Beacon Academy named Glinda Goodwitch. Glinda Goodwitch Actually, we'll talk about Glinda Goodwitch a bit. So, after Glinda Goodwitch manages to keep Ruby safe and, uh, and the villains kind of are trying to fight her off, you see the another character that we won't know until at the end of the volume. Her name is Cinder, and she does some, like, little wiggly woo fire
Whoosh,
shit.
whoosh, 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 yeah.
And then after the villains escape and Ruby is safe, she is said to she's in jail
Jail.
because well, I think it looks like jail. That's what I think. But
Jail
yeah,
to the death penalty.
this leads into Glinda Goodwitch reprimanding Ruby for risky act of heroism, and that's when but then she introduces Ruby to uh, Professor Ozpin, and Ozpin decides, instead of punishing her, let's bring her on
Reward
to
her.
Beacon Academy. So he invites her to Beacon Academy, the same school where Yang, her half sister, is going to, and that's where their first adventure starts, where they're getting ready to go to Beacon Academy. If I had to summarize that to the best of my abilities, what I can remember, and watching the episode really quick right now. So, thoughts on the episode?
That's on the episode.
Where do you want to start?
Let's see.
I'll say like for a first episode, it's not including the context of later volumes. It's a pretty solid first episode.
Yeah.
You get to know characters like Ruby Rose, and you get again different characterization than we got in the Red trailer. But we'll excuse it. A, it's a trailer, and B, she's visiting her mom's grave, so she's probably not gonna be happy go lucky. Um, the fight scenes are fucking fantastic as usual. I th-
You were going to hear that a lot. Fight scenes are
yeah,
sensational because it's true.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it's just the truth at this point. At least in this point in time for me. And I think there are some things I have qualms about, but I'll have to discuss that once I'll let you have your thoughts.
Like you said, it's solid starter to the series. It does well, speaking like we only seen volume 1 and not trying to reference later
Future volumes.
volumes.
Yeah.
Yes, it gives you an insight about what the world is about. Um, it shows us and doesn't tell us what Ruby's character is, and like we mentioned before, it was like the Cowboy Bebop esque robbing a store, and she jumps
Mhm.
in,
I will
and
say, I think that's one of my qualms with this episode was some
okay.
of the influence involved, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but you continue.
No, I do want to get into that too, because
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
yeah, perfect. Okay, well then we'll go to that.
Let's go to
So
that since it's a good
let's fight.
transition.
Oh, I was waiting for you.
Oh, no, I was waiting for you. I thought I yeah, I mean,
No, no,
I
I'll
thought
let
you
you
wanted
go.
to
I'll
lead.
let you go. I'll let you go.
Okay. Uh, I don't claim to watch, like, Cowboy Bebop. I haven't series like that. I have heard that in, like, like, little, like, behind the scenes footage of RWBY that this episode with the whole concept of, you know, store robbery, main character comes in and intervene, and whatnot. That's the like they that's a scene pulled from that it's a reference from Cowboy Bebop with Spike Spiegel's introduction, right?
Mm, yes, it's in the movie.
It's in the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
So knowing a little bit about Cowboy Bebop from what I know, I think I will say like if they didn't mention that this was pulled from Cowboy Bebop, I think it would have been okay. Like it would have been fine. I wouldn't think about it. But since they kind of actively made that a point that they love Cowboy Bebop and they use that as a reference for the starting the for the fight for this episode, I think they kind of missed the point a little bit for how like how it how the purpose of the fight in the Cowboy Bebop fight compared to the Ruby fight. I think here it's just like, oh, establish Ruby being a badass, cool. But I think, but in the movie scene, they use that scene as a way to establish not only his character in the fight, but also you kind of get like a sense of his psyche where there's like a shot where like he had like one of the robbers holding someone hostage, and he threatens to shoot the hostage, and Spike Spiegel saying like I don't care, like shoot
Okay.
her,
Do it. Shoot
do
her.
it, and then
Go
that
ahead.
gets him
Do it.
scared. He's worried now, and then that causes the robber to be worried because he thinks that Spiegel doesn't care about his life, so shooting her doesn't change anything. Points his gun at him. So
Mm,
now Spike Spiegel is the one in danger, and then so that was like that shows kind of Spike's characterization where he's really again he's really smart. He like and he knows how to mediate to make sure the safety of the person is guaranteed so that so that way it's pointed on him him knowing how to fight. He knows he can get away with like not being killed by the robber, but also it kind of shows a little bit of his like what he thinks about himself and how he has little regards to for his own personal well-being that he's willing to put his own life on the line uh his own life on the line to help people. And I
as if
think
we all have seen the anime,
yeah.
y'all get it. If you haven't watched Cowboy Bebop, please do. It's a must.
So yeah,
Not
I
the
think
live action, that shit garbage. Um,
uh, Netflix. Get a Netflix adaptation. Waiting for the
so
One Piece one.
I'm so worried, but that's another story for another time.
Okay. So I think if we're judging based on what the writers boldly claim, I think I think if they were trying to do the opening movie scene justice, I think they missed the point for that.
Yeah. If I'd like
But
to cut in, um,
oh, cutting. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, what I found very different about these scenes is that with Ruby, this scene is meant to this sets up everything going forward.
Mhm.
Where Ruby wasn't in this dust shop, nothing would happen. It wasn't tortured there. She wouldn't have been seen by Ozpin or any of that. This is truly what I believe is for setup. Where in Cowboy Bebop, the opening is purely to get an idea of what the characters are like, Spike and Jet, and their methods on how they deal with these situations and how their relationship is as partners, where Spike's the more, okay, let's just do this. And Jet's yelling at him saying, "Follow the plan," yada yada yada.
Mhm.
And um, ooh, I had a brain fart. Eh, yeah, it just
You
seemed
good?
like just another day, another average day for Spike and Jet. Nothing too special about it, which is what I liked.
Mm.
Whereas with Ruby, this is a pretty big situation because this is the plot. This is what
This
going
is
through the volumes. Yeah.
this is the first introduction for a character. Everything you got to know about Ruby and basically like learning about the key players involved.
Along with the whole dust stealing plot and the big plan that ties to that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I'll say yeah. Outside of that qualm, I don't think it's a big one. Mainly because if I had to not include the writers like the writers who talked about the in general, and I just focus on understanding the story face value as it is, I think it's a fine first episode. I think there again. I think along with I think voice acting could be a little bit better. Uh, Li Ruby Rose, voiced by Lindsay Jones. I know this is her first foray into voice acting, so yeah, Ruby Rose here comparing it to Future Villains, her voice is so different.
yeah, that's gonna happen a lot earlier in the
Yeah,
game.
like her voice is a little bit deeper, but I don't blame her because she's just kinda like warming up to the role. So, but
Just to
she
start,
did
yeah.
fine. She did fine
Hmm.
for her like first time and all that stuff. Everyone else did pretty okay roles. Cinder doesn't have any lines 'cause she probably didn't have a voice actor yet at the time, but,
Just there.
um, Roman Torchwick, he's voiced by Gray Haddock. He's actually one of the, I think, producers of the show. Let me actually Gray Haddock, he's a producer of the show, he is Roman Torchwick. Um, yeah, Roman's character, he has, like, a very showy. Oh, yeah, looking like he has like a little bit of theatrics in him, especially with his clothing. Makes like a he looks like a clown, not gonna lie. Yeah, what do you think about Roman's kind of design, I guess?
Let me pull it up again just to get my. Mm, he's. I'm not sure if this is what they were going for, but fuck, forgot the name of that movie.
Orange?
Shit. Hmm?
Were you thinking about Clockwork Orange? Because I was thinking about Clockwork
Yep,
Orange.
yep. Clock. Yeah, was it. I was thinking Clock
Like with the
Orange.
polar hat cap, the flashy like whitish suit, and then the hair has it reminds me of Clockwork Orange a little bit. I'm not sure if
I feel
that's
like it
the
is.
direct reference, but I think if it
Feel
kind of
like
feel
it
like
is
that.
in some way, especially with how his eyelashes are when they're like
Oh
pointing
yeah,
downward too. Um,
references. Everybody loves reference.
references. Yeah,
I think his design's alright. I just don't like the colors that much. I don't like the colors that much personally.
nothing really stands out about the color. It's, it's more or less just his hair and the hat that just stands out to me.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, I actually don't like the hair that much. It looks kind of weird.
Really.
Not for me. Sorry, I don't. It looks really weird with the rest of his outfit personally.
I
But
kind of dig it.
Glinda Goodwitch, one of the teachers of um of Beacon Academy, she's there.
Shows
I
up.
mean, I mean, wait, what?
She shows up.
She shows up. She does her job. Well, it's kind of I know she's kind of there to establish what a huntress is. You know, protector of Remnant, fighting Grim, fighting crime, all that fun stuff. And I mean, her design is pretty. It's all right. Like it's not. Again, it's not. It's not as interest. She doesn't pop out compared to like Team Ruby, but I think like to fit in with the world, she looks good.
Straightforward. It's the
Straightforward.
idea of a witch and it works.
Oh yeah, she's based
Odd.
off of the uh the Wizard of Oz. What's
Mhm.
the Good Witch? I think I forgot her
Yeah.
name. And then she got the riding crop as a weapon. I'm scared.
Oh,
Glinda Good. Let me see. Glinda Goodwitch, she's voiced by Kathleen Zulich. Kathleen Zulich. We haven't also a producer of the show. Yeah, she's just kind of she's I like her design. I think blonde hair, the use of white and black, but the hints of purple help break. Looks cool.
I like the inside of the purple on the cape.
Yeah, the cape, yeah.
It's a cool.
And last but not least, well, actually, we still need to talk about Cinder, but let's move the Cinder talk to later when she
Yeah,
actually has
when we
lines.
actually know what you like and hear.
Sounds like.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we have last but not least Professor Ozpin, based on the Wizard of Oz tale. He plays the uh Wizard of Oz, and he is voiced by. I'm sorry, I gotta pull up. I have a list. I gotta go. I gotta pull up the name.
for take your time.
Oz. Voiced by Shannon McCormick. He voices Ozpin, and his design. I think it looks pretty good. Like, I say that because his colors being primarily being green, and that fits with the original Wizard of Oz character being like having a green slash emerald outfit, and then he has the gray white hair. For a guy with gray hair, I can't tell if it's because he's old or if he has gray hair because he's old, or if it's just what he looks like.
I think he's just stunting, bro. I would say he's dripped out.
Drip. He's not even old. He's just like fucking schmexy. Just
I like
underneath
his
underneath
design.
that outfit, he just like has abs and like
I
muscles
know
and
he has
shit.
abs. Damn straight.
Fucking dilf energy.
He does give a dope energy.
Oh, for sure, man.
And the
Uh
cane, bro, it's just a nice little touch. I like that. That's his weapon.
yeah, I think with his introduction, he really does exude this kind of mysterious, a little bit of an untrustworthy energy, especially since like he
Mhm.
kind of comes in like Ruby Rose, you have silver eyes, and that's the first statement you make. That especially like I feel like when it comes to introducing yourself as a character, the first line you say is what will stick with you. And
Yep.
his first line being specifically to point out Ruby's eye color, I feel it's kind of sets this weird precedent that there's something more to why he's reaching out to Ruby and why he's like offering her this opportunity to skip 2 grades ahead. She's 15, by the way. I forgot to
Mm,
mention she is 15 years old.
yep.
She's the youngest member,
Prodigy.
prodigy. Yeah, she uh she she gets to go to a prestigious school at you go to a prestigious school and directly invited by Ozpin himself, who is the head of that school, the headmaster of that school. So I don't know. I think I think that first line really sets that weird precedent that there's definitely a lot more to why he specifically looks out for Ruby Rose, and we might need to question some of like why he's doing these things. So I think
It's not like a, oh, you have pretty eyes. It's
you have
you have
you have silver
silver
eyes.
eyes.
I think
No,
that's
that's
the
what I
main
like the little hit of. Yeah.
Yeah, I think really good characterization. I think like to like I think maybe for the first time you watch it, you wouldn't notice it the first time. I think, but after watching it again, you might be like, hmm, why did he
Especially getting
point?
to
Why did
later
he
stuff. You're
specific? Yeah,
like,
especially yeah. Again, we're not okay. Let's try not to include
okay,
some
okay,
of the
yeah,
later
yeah.
details.
Ah, okay.
Let's try not to include later details. But I think like if you let's say if we were just watching this for the first time back in 2013, if you rewatch it again, you'd be like, why did he mention her eye color? What was so important about her eye color?
Mhm.
And that's it. And then moves on and invites her to a school because he
Why not?
ru- privilege. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, no. Team Ruby gets a lot of privilege.
Oh god, you know what? Fair enough, actually. But we'll talk more about that later. And then yeah, so Ruby Rose is now on a ship to Beacon Academy with her sister Yang Xiaolong, voiced by Barbara Dunkelman. And you get a little bit more insight. You get insight Mordrick and his history, of like his criminal background, along with the brief introduction of the Fang movement where it's kind of like inserted in a new segment that's on the ship where they talk about the White Fang protests and stuff. So it kind of setting up some details for future parts of the future episode, and why. And then it's kind of I will say what's kind of weird. Again, I think that's it's trying if we're not trying to. I really need to stop trying to think about future volumes when analyzing this, but like Ruby's kind of like initial struggle was trying to fit into this to Beacon Academy, where she's like, oh, I don't want to be special. I want to be. Oh, I want knees, not bees knees, all that stuff. And that's gonna be kind of her little thing she's got to work on. And then Yang, being cool, supportive older sister. Yeah. What actually? How would you, how do you feel about Ruby and Yang's current characterization for episode one?
As of episode one, ooh, sorry, I need water. Then hold
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I forgot. You should probably bring a podcast. Get it's gonna
Micro
get
consumer.
it's gonna get thirsty and our mouth gets dry from all the talk.
Um, when I first saw 'em, going back to the Yellow Trail, I'm like, "There's no way they're sisters." I'm like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah,
now he's a
they look nothing alike.
um, I do like how they bring in Yang, how she's like the watching out her big sister type, playing the big sister role as any big sister should, and
Mhm.
encouraging, hey, you should try meeting new people and you're gonna be fine, and kind of uplifting Ruby, like Ruby style playing herself. Like, I'm not
Uh,
sure.
I'm not
Seem like
sure.
I'm all that, and Yang's like, you should embrace it because you are.
You're special.
You're special.
All right. Yeah. I think like yeah, I would say overall, I think like it's a pretty good first episode. Just like setting up outside of some of my qualms with the voice acting and the whole trying to like using Cowboy Bebop as a reference for their first fight scene. That aside, I think it's still a pretty solid first episode, and whatnot. All right, what would is this peak or trash? Sorry, there you go. Max, do you think this episode is peak or this episode's trash?
It's not trash. Um, Leaning more towards the peak, but it's nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy.
It's nothing should be like
Serviceable.
at the top of the peak. It's serviceable. Yeah.
Serviceable. Yeah, same thing. I say not trash. I'd actually say it's not that peak either. I think peak is like for really good stuff. Like again, the Ruby trailers. And I say it's like again, serviceable. It's good. Like it's fine. It's like nothing too much to complain about. And then we had the next arc, the initiation arc. Woohoo!
Yippee!
I'm gonna summarize this as best I can. So, Ruby and Yang, they have finally arrived on Beacon grounds, and they are all kind of Ruby's kind of separated from Yang because Yang decides to I'm gonna ditch my sister because why not? Because go hang out with her friends.
Bye.
Bye. And then you
Those
see
friends we
Ruby.
never see again, by the way.
Oh yeah, they never come back. Some friends they are
They fake. They fake.
fake ass. Um, Yeah, so you kind of follow Ruby and her trying to like, and you see, and she runs into all the major players. You meet Weiss Schnee, voiced by Cara Eberly. Yeah, Weiss Schnee is voiced by Cara Eberly, and yeah, you're uh, all right. You know what? Let's talk about Weiss real quick. Her characterization in this episode, in the second episode. How do you feel?
Fuck you. That was my first thought watching this. I was like, which they did a good job. I'm pretty sure that's
I
what
know
they were
it's
going
on
for.
purpose. It's on
Yeah,
purpose for sure. It's kind of funny how like the trailer that she's like one of your favorites in the trailer, and then the character comes in, she's a fucking bitch. But I
Just
was
to clarify, at the start, Vice was my least favorite.
oh yeah, well I think she was a lot of people's least favorite at the time,
Going with, like,
and
Vice.
which we will delve on more until we reach near the end.
Yeah. Don't
Okay.
worry, good character, but,
So yeah, yeah,
um
she. I remember when I watched her first, I was like, oh man, she's one of those people. Ew,
Yep, that yep,
annoying, rich, privileged people
privilege.
who look down on other people, and that's God, it's annoying. And
Mhm.
then right when Ruby met Ruby, and then Ruby, Weiss is being unsafe. She doesn't. She has dust coming out of the bottle, and then that leads to a whole accident where Ruby sneezes, explosions happen, and they both caught into it. Weiss reprimands Ruby, even though she didn't realize it was her fault for letting the dust slip out of the bottle. And then we meet the next main character, Blake Belladonna, again voiced by Aaron Zek, and she serves and she mentioned, and that's when she name drops who Wai Shni is. She is the current heiress of the Shni Dust Company, and in the world of RWBY, the Shni Dust Company is one of the most major distributors of dust in their world, and that's when Blake also mentions that even though along with the Shini Dust Company being one of the major dust distributors in the world, they also have history of uh, creating hostile working conditions for. Well, actually, let me pull up this specific phrase so I can say correctly.
I got you on that. Says Harris actually?
Okay, there you go. So, she also brings up that the Shini Dust Company is also known for creating bad work. Sorry, hold on. Let me listen to it. Same company known for having controversial labor forces, aka bad working conditions, and create
Questionable business
have some
partners.
questionable business partners. So a
Like,
lot of
bitch, how dare you?
so it makes so it already like Weiss is definite Weiss the Schnee Dust Company and Weiss herself are not the greatest people in the world. They especially she doesn't elaborate she doesn't elaborate more on the Schnee Dust Company until later in the series. But it already shows kind of like a dynamic. Like it already sets up some dynamic between Blake and Weiss, where Blake kind of does not agree with slash reprimands the business choices and treatment that the treatment of workers in the Schnee Dust Company. So that already sets up some hostility between both Weiss and Blake for the future. And Blake herself, she's just mellow. She like at first introduction, she's like, I'm the cool, mysterious type," and I'm out.
Chill, mysterious. I don't want to talk to anyone. I'm in my
Introverted.
own world.
Yeah. And then after Weiss gets all hissy has her hissy fits and leaves, and Blake leaves to go on her own,
Oh,
the main deroganist of the show, so the secondary protagonist, Jean Arc. Funny thing is, I voiced Jean Arc in a Ruby Bridge project, but not just a quick little promo, quick little promo.
shameless plug. Shameless plug.
um, yeah. So we get into Jean Arc. He plays he plays the everyman kind of character. He's like the common person in the world of Remnant, and he kind of serves as a way for the audience to help understand the world because since he doesn't know much, that kind of reflects the state of the audience. So he's kind of a way to help kind of know more about the world. And Jean Arc is not Jean Arc. He's kind of portrayed as being a little bit like kind of a little bit bumbly,
A little bit.
a little bit like a nerd, skittish,
Mhm.
a bit of a dork,
A
and
little bit. A bit. No, I think
no,
he's
not a
kind of
bit. He just no, he just encompasses dork energy.
we
So
love him though.
basically me. Anyways, yeah, so we get to talk about like in the dialogue they exchange about each other. They talk about about each other's weapons along, and then we learn about Jean's weapon called Crochet More, which is I don't know how to say that. Crochet More. It is a family heirloom weapon in the Arc family that's been passed down from generation to generation, and it's been in it's been uh it's been in the family since the Great War, which they name drop. I'm assuming that's their version of like that they had a war in the past, probably like some kind of world war. And funny thing is they never talk about the world war since like ever until like some outside source.
Shame.
Isn't for shame. For shame. They don't even talk about the Great War. Um
Did they just mention one of the books?
Yeah, they mentioned the Great War in the Remnant videos where if you don't know, the Ruby World of Remnant videos are just homework. It's just like it's like like videos that talk about the world of Remnant basically.
I call
Which
it the Kingdom Hearts effect, where you have to go through different sources of media and just different consoles just to get the full story.
because you
Union
because
Crossing, fuck you.
because because the writers don't know how to do good world building within their story. Yeah. Um Yeah, so I think the episode ends with Jean and Ruby kind of like walking around trying to find their way to the next episode, and then they regroup and we meet some new characters like Pyranikos, who is a was originally from Mistral, and she is a prodigy, a warrior prodigy in their universe, and that she's so famous that she has her own cereal. Her face is on a cereal box, along with other characters like Ren and Nora, Lyren. Actually, let me go back. So, Pyranikos is voiced by Jen Brown. What do you think about Pyranikos? Actually,
Um, and thus mentioning her voice actor ties in perfectly. I really like her voice. I like her attitude, like how she talks.
mm-hmm,
I don't know how to describe it. It's very welcoming
mm-hmm.
how she presents herself and talks to others, especially when she's talking to Weiss and John in
She's
the
actually
locker
my
room at the
waifu
start.
character.
She's so nice.
She's so nice, and I want nothing to happen to her.
Yeah, me neither.
What
Nothing
was it?
happens.
Yeah. So Pure Nikos. There's also Nora Valkyrie and Lyren, a duo that we don't know their entire history of, but they're there. They are there, and they have Nora Valkyrie. She is a kind of like she kind of starts like comic relief. She's very extremely energetic, extremely positive, and she is voiced by Samantha Ireland. What do you think about Nora Valkyrie and her character, or anything about her or her characters?
Make my point. I'd like to tie in Ren's character as well.
Okay,
Um, I
Lyren,
feel
also
like
voiced by he's previously voiced by Monty Ohm. Rest in peace, Monty Ohm.
rest in peace, Monty.
Sorry, continue.
You know that meme of these two stickmen, when one's holding the other on the leash, and the one on the leash is looking like devious.
No, I actually never
That's
heard of
how
that one.
I'm gonna. No, I'll send it to you right now. I'll send it
Or
right
send it
now.
send it
You
to me
can
in the
see.
chat.
Yeah.
Podcast text.
Uh, hopefully, people who are watching y'all know what I'm talking about, and I don't
I'll
sound crazy.
I will pull up
But
the picture when we get around to editing it. I
okay,
show the picture.
this is how I can describe these two.
Wait, you're sending me through Discord or on my phone?
Discord.
Okay. Sorry, I was checking some.
You're good.
But while you get that set up, so basically, this entire arc is the beacon initiation test where they base um where um where Professor Osmond sets up this test for all the students involved. They can form where they fight Grim, complete an objective, and they get to full team depending on what piece. Their objective is to get a chess piece, and that chess piece will help form. Well, it four members grab the same piece, and that they become a team essentially. And during that time, we get to know a little bit more about each of the characters, where you get to also learn more about the world building, mainly about aura and symbiosis through Jean and Pierre's scene, where Jean somehow, I'm gonna say somehow, Jean doesn't know what aura is, and
Which
that confuses me a little bit. Aura is such
That doesn't
a
make sense to me at all.
yeah, Aura is something that Aura is part of their universe. It's something that everyone knows and everyone has. So I'm confused how Jean, living in the world of Remnant, doesn't know a single thing about Aura. In narrative sense, I don't think narratively, I get they're trying to exposit what Aura is, but at the same time, I don't understand why Jean somehow doesn't know about it. Especially since he's going to Beacon and being a huntress, and being a huntress, you would need Aura to survive.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. It just felt like a moment to put a lore dump for the
Get a check
viewers, but
for the
honestly, there
viewers.
could be better ways to do it instead of just dumbing down John. Because
Yeah,
yeah, that just didn't make sense.
I feel like a natural way they could have done it is just like they could have a scene where they talk about like they check their aura levels because I know they can check aura levels on their phone. Like, oh no, my aura level is really low, and then they can kind of cleverly weave in what like how aura works through there instead of just having someone be fucking stupid. So I think
Mm,
that's already one issue I have with some of the early volumes. World building is not that great.
that is a
They
big
do a
issue
ter
for
they do a
comics.
terrible job, and, yeah, so, that part really, like, made me confused when I rewatched. I'm like, "Why how do you not know what a war is? You live in this world." If it and, let's see, so along with the revelation of Aura, we learn about Grimm, and we also get some more we I'll say we get more kinda character relationship development between Ruby and Weiss during that arc. Because I'll be honest, everyone else, they connect with each other, they find their group, they vibe with each other. Jean and Pyrrha, Blake and Yang, Ren and Nora, all that cool stuff. And then Ruby and Weiss, because they're the only two partners, they're partnered with each other, um, and they have the most issues with each other, mainly because Ruby is really trying to prove herself that she is worthy of being here at Beacon, and then Weiss during the entire test, she just does not want anything to do with Ruby and she just thinks she's trying to get in the way,
They are
causing her
opposite
problems.
forces of nature,
Opposite force essentially.
opposite
And
attack.
yeah, I think again, I think uh it sets up the it sets up and develops their dynamic between Ruby and Weiss pretty well, mainly because especially with how they have very different, especially showing their fighting style, the philosophy, way of life. You have again, I think I mentioned this before earlier with the trailers. Weiss has a more refined and quick brute like way of fighting. Like she's straight to the point. While you have Ruby, where she's more has a lot more dramatic flair in her fighting style, and has a lot more oomph in her fights. And um, Weiss thinks Ruby's getting in the way because eh, she's she thinks Weiss thinks Ruby is unfit to go to a school like Beacon age, along with how immature she's behaving in the situation. And Ruby just wants to is really eager to prove herself and to her new partner that she's capable of being to hanging and being with the hunters and huntresses here. And then let's see. After some hijinks with Jean and Pyrrha having a scorpion grim follow them, and Ruby and Weiss riding and falling off of a Nevermore bird grim, and then and the team kind of assemble. You see Ruby went during the situation. Ruby's trying to wait. Actually, let me pull up again, pulling up the episode. I don't It's really hard to remember on the spot. But in the Ruby's trying to prove herself in the fight. She kind of rushes into battle, not really thinking of a plan, and she gets pinned by the Nevermore and its feathers. But Weiss manages to save Ruby in time, and kind of like she decides I don't know. I don't know if it's just her being nice, but like, yeah, I think in a way this scene kind of at least characterizes that she's not fully heartless or anything like that.
Complete
She's just
asshole.
not peak asshole yet, but like she's willing to like she's willing to like be okay with like working with Ruby and that what she's doing she's fine. You just gotta work together.
Gotta adapt.
A little bit of a little again, a little bit of a really weird slash quick resolution for the fight. I get it's in like a fight or flight fight fight for your life scenario that you need to like to work together. But I think like it's kind of resolved a little weirdly. It resolved a little quickly, or how it like build up, and then
When we talk
fight.
about actually, we'll get to that later in like
Uh,
a couple episodes with the whole Weiss um, connection and all that. But sorry, continue.
no, sorry, and no, you're good, you're good. And then fight scene happens, fucking amazing as usual. I
Oh
think
yeah.
the only okay, I will say I think it's a little weird, mainly because there's a weird disconnect between the scenes and the fight scenes. Uh what was it? There I from what I remember, there Weiss tells everyone, "Hey, that's not like, hey, our job is not to fight the Grim. Let's just grab what we need and get out." And everyone agrees.
Mhm.
But for some reason, the next scene afterwards, they go straight to fighting the Grims for some reason,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird because
Um, I think this can be because uh, Monty worked more on the fight scenes, and it was the 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 choreography, not the choreography, the animation team when it came to fights and the overall story writers, they were in their separate roles, and when they came together, it wasn't like they weren't totally in sync, from what
mm,
I know.
okay.
So this is why sometimes transitioning from normal scenes to fight scenes seems a little jarring and weird. 'Cause, yeah, that was a weird tone shift from y'all. They just said, "Okay, let's run
Or
away," and then next thing you know, they're running towards the damn things.
I think they were I think they just narratively it just felt weird how there's a like the scenes didn't connect with each other. I think even I think like going off of what you said about the animators for the fight scenes and the writers being separate. I think they also mentioned that if you looked at it in the script, they would have all the dialogue and then they would put like a section where it says insert Monty fight scenes. So they would have to essentially wait for how the fight out, and then they hope and then they tell Monty and the animators how the fight's gonna go, and then Monty does best with what he has, and then he sends it over to the writers, and then but because he just works on the fight scenes, there is a bit of a disconnect between how the fight scene fits in with the overall scene. From what I remember, yeah, from what I remember, that's they kind of just did that in the script, like, oh yeah, dialogue, and then like all that stuff, and then and then they have a section that says insert awesome Ruby Monty own Ruby fight scene, and then they
It's like
continue.
those Family Guy cuts where I remember that one time I yada yada yada. It just cuts to some random shit.
Alright,
That's what I think of it as.
I guess that's one way to see it. And then the fight scene itself, oh it's really creative. I haven't seen this like, especially my favorite like, again, the whole like so during the fight, you have the team separated into their own team. You have Jean, Pyrrha, Nora, and Ren that they form become Team Juniper, and you see them have their awesome fight. But then you have Team Rubies that took the show, obviously, because of the main
Mhm.
characters. Fuck it. They have a scene, uh quick shout out scene. You have Yang like firing at at the bird, the Nevermore bird grim, and then she hops into its mouth, holds it,
Hope
props its
you're
mouth
hungry.
open, and then starts firing rounds into its mouth. I hope you're hungry, and then crash. And then that's when they set up this whole crazy plan where they pin the Nevermore onto the mountain, and then using Blake's ribbons, they hold it in between two pillars for Ruby to like rest on the ribbon with her weapon, and then Weiss uses her glyph to basically hold it in place, like make Ruby into a human slingshot, and then they
Copied that from
fire her.
Luffy, just taking inspiration from One Piece. They totally copied that from Monkey D. I'm
Oh
kidding.
yeah,
That's a joke.
Mo-
That's a joke.
Ore wa Monkey D. Luffy.
So it just really reminded me of how Luffy fighted, but
And
there's
then
no correlation between the
oh, and the music, Red Like Rose Part 2.
2. They said, "We're not done yet."
And we're not done yet because we have such banger music to go along with fights. And I love Red Like Roses Part 2. That it is an amazing. I think the song on its own, I think there's a lot in it. There's a lot of it has its own story in it where I'm not necessarily sure, but talks specifically about Ruby and Summer and Ruby and her mom Summer. But like it's basically talking about how you get two sides of the story. You have Ruby's story where she she wants to be like a hero. She wants to be a hero, but she wants to be a hero while you have the mom. She doesn't want to live the life she did and died for it. And then kind of devolves into Ruby missing her mom, and Summer not wanting Ruby to follow her way of life. And but
Yeah,
then that's his own thing. That's a whole separate. But yeah, fight scene. Oh my god, it was so amazing, and you get to really see. Again, it has a lot of there's a lot of flair and oomph and fluidity in the fight scenes that just that screams Monty, you know?
I also
And
like how with how the groups separate. It kind of shows that Ruby and John are capable of these skills to be leaders. How Ruby makes a plan herself, um,
okay, I
and
will say okay.
John kind of like says, "Go do this, do this." I mean, with John, it's a less
I think Jean is a
not
little
as
bit. I don't think it's that. I don't have a strong of a case for Jean because again, I think for Ruby, she works with Yang and she worked with Weiss, and so she has a she has a good understand she has a decent understanding of her team. And but for Jean, he only hung out with and I don't I just I think his leadership like him trying to be built up as a leader of the team just felt really weird. Like I don't think he really like knew that well. I think and even then, it's not like they even talked about the plan. It was like he was just like, "Pyrrha, hit that, Pyrrha," and then she's like, "Got
great.
it."
That Soldier Boy.
Great, yeah. He just says random commands, and then somehow Pyrrha knows what Jean is talking about. Because I think it was a real fight. If you just if in a real scenario, if you said like, "Hey, over there," and like, "What do you mean over there? What do you want me to do? Shoot?" Fuck, I don't know.
No, I feel you, but
Yeah, I feel like they could have
although it's
established.
not,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
although it's not as well thought out as Ruby's plan, as more Ruby's gotten to know the characters. I still, it's at least John trying,
Fair enough, I
at least
guess.
showing there's some qualities that he can, show that he's capable of being a leader. Because neither John nor Ruby are the perfect leaders. Definitely not right now.
Right.
Uh, I just
Fair
like that it shows that they have the potential to be.
fair enough. I guess, yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right. Okay. And then the entire weekend test ends with, Ruby having her team, which includes Ruby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang, and their names. RWBY forms the team name Ruby, led by Ruby. And then you have Jean, Pyrrha, and Ren, and their names come together to become Team Juniper.
Wow, 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 wow.
Whoever thought of these names are oh. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Oh
Say
yeah,
that.
so overall, what do you think about the entire arc, the Beacon Test arc?
Mm, mm,
Is it a peak or is it but maybe belongs
it's
in the garbage?
it's more towards peak. Definitely
Okay.
more peak than our introduction in the first episode, especially with the fucking amazing fight scene.
Mhm.
Um, only thing really dragging it down for me is the weird cut between scenes where there's just expedition dialogue and to the fight scenes where they don't feel connected.
Mm.
Like literally, like you said in the script, it says, "Oh, cut to Monty fight scene." Um, but it did a fairly good job establishing how the characters will interact with each other in the future, who's going to get along with who probably won't get along with who, and just this is the building block phase.
Yeah.
That's what I can call it best, the building blocks too. hopefully make everything pay off wherever they're going to reach whatever goal they have with the show.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a again fair assessment. I might be a little bit more on. I might be a little bit side. I think. I think I. But it's not trash. But it's. I don't think it's peak either. It's
Yeah,
not. I think it's probably again neutral. I think it serves its job into building up more of the relationship and character dynamics we'll get later in the volume along with future seasons. And fight scenes are great. Again, I think the major issues I had with this arc was weird world building, the not very well done world building. I think, especially with the whole aura thing, which was really they could.
yeah,
I
that
know
was
they could have done way,
just
but I know a lot of shows like Avatar would have done something like world building a lot better than what we had here. And I'm kind of I think no, I'll talk about that. I'll talk more about the cast later, but and then getting some kind of development for Ruby and Weiss. Ruby and Weiss mainly because they're the ones we kind of follow more in this arc and whatnot. So I think I give it like a, if anything, I could probably give it like a 6 out of 10. Like
okay.
it's average. It's good. I think it could. There's probably a lot more things I could have done better that would have made it in the good category.
Well, it is
Alrighty.
what it is, you know. It is
All right.
what it is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, and we have the next 2 episodes, which is dedicated for Ruby and Weiss, which kinda explains their to help kinda further their dynamic. So, we follow on their first day of Beacon where, it's high school anime hijinks, they're late to class. That's basically how it first started. It's like Team Ruby, they're kind of trying to get acquainted with each other. They're doing fun things like building their rooms and all that fun stuff. And they go to class and it's boring because Professor Port too much about himself. Professor Port, voiced by Ryan Haywood, um, ex-member of Rooster Teeth, which I will not go into, but yes. And what was it? We kinda delve more into Weiss's character here where she her the where she's kinda really affected by the decision of, uh, why Ruby was chosen to be the leader of the team, where she thinks she's qualified than Ruby. And this leads into a whole little, like, mini character development where, Weiss kinda to that even though she may be qualified, she still has shortcomings as a person that kind of makes her not really fully ready for a leadership position because she is extremely vain and really selfish. I think that was a big part of it, right? And then Ruby herself, she with Weiss's outburst she had um uh she has against Ruby about how Ruby doesn't deserve to be a leader. She gets all sad. She worrying about maybe if she's worthy of being a leader. Where that is until Professor Ozpin comes in and says, "Yeah, no," and says, "No, you're not. Like, no, I don't like. You're still learning, and that's fine. And I don't think me choosing you as a leader was a mistake." And then Weiss from Professor Port learns to not if that even though you're not a leader, you should be the best team member and be a supportive person for your leader.
You can
Show
be.
show them that you do good essentially. Wait, I gotta pull. Let me see the scene real quick. And then yeah, they also kind of delve into like Weiss's character where they talk about privileged lifestyle where she got everything she wanted. Where she's like, oh, the one time that the one time that you don't get what you want, you throw a hissy fit, and that's just and your poor attitude that's the reason why that's the major reason why Ozpin probably didn't choose you as leader. and then
Pretty
that's when
much
he
just
gives
roast her.
fucking roast her ass.
You ain't
But
shit.
if we're gonna be honest, if someone like Weiss was being talked down to someone like Professor Port in real life, she would not listen. She'd be like, "Bitch, I'm not gonna listen to you. I have money."
Whatever.
Yeah. So Professor Port's kind of has gives her word of wisdom to like you may not be the leader, but you have to do your best. But you should do your part as a partner and teammate is to help Ruby grow as a leader, and then and support her because that's what a partner would do. And the mini episode arc ends with like Ruby Ruby and Weiss kind of learning to get along, and Weiss trying to do her best to make sure Ruby is the best leader she can be by helping her out with
Trying to be a real one.
trying to be a real one, but yeah. So, what do you think about this
Wait,
two
wait, wait,
mini
wait.
episode art? Oh, what's
5
up?
seconds. Hold on. Yeah, that was my first stretch of the day. That hurt like a bitch. Um, um, these these episodes, I feel they had a plan of what they were going to do, trying to bring these two characters close together and try to get them to understand each other.
Mhm.
But for me, it felt too forced and fast.
Oh yeah, especially in 2 episodes.
2 episodes was too little time for them to
This,
establish this. Because at the end of the second episode of this arc, it's like Weiss is a completely different person,
yeah, they rush her character development.
and it's like I would have liked to see that play out more and more, and it has
hmm
this build up instead of just happening right there. Um, Side
In
note,
one conversation changes everything.
one conversation, yeah, that. Side note, I have not seen Ice Queendom, just totally going off branch, but I heard they dive into that more. Don't know
Oh
if I should
yeah, I
watch
forgot
Ice
about Ice
Queendom.
Queendom.
I do want to watch it someday eventually,
hmm
but
Future review maybe.
yeah, but Um, see, I like how we saw Ruby having the talk with her husband. Starts to actually get into the studies, staying up late at night, making the attempts to become a better leader, not only for herself, but for her team, even though Weiss points out that's wrong.
hmm
But yeah, my only gripe is that it just happened too fast and it didn't seem genuine.
Like the development from why I started out and how she ends up was too abrupt and felt like you needed more time to develop.
It felt like a Power Rangers episode where everything happened in one episode.
Hey, at least for Power Rangers, it's episodic and they have so that I will give that a pass.
Yeah.
I give Power Rangers a pass. Ruby's different. I think especially since this is focused on Team Ruby, I felt like Blake and Yang should have some kind of like presence involved because this doesn't affect just between Ruby and Weiss. This is the entire team, and I think like Blake or Yang should at least like be more present in trying to solve this like dispute between Ruby and Weiss.
Yeah, I feel you.
There's that. I think that's also one thing like we need more Blake and Yang to be involved in this team issue because they're a team in the end, and it's kind of weird. Yang barely has any lines. Like she barely has. I don't think she really has much of a major presence in in the Ruby Volume One as a whole in terms of like her presence affecting the plot or anything. Isn't that weird? Like
It's
especially in their
like
trailer. Wait, what's up?
it was just mainly just the quick quips, like talking to her sister on the way to Beacon, trying to talk to Blake, and just the scene in the cafeteria. But since then, and I noticed in the previous arc before, he doesn't really say a lot.
Yang's like funny quip. Here, have a little. Let's do Little Pony and anger issue explosion because that's funny. I guess I don't know. And
Those are right now. Just
it's just kind of like her presence shouldn't. I feel like it should have been a lot more like it's not as strong as it should be. Because again, this is a show about Team Ruby, not just Team Ru. It's just focused mainly on Ruby and Weiss, and not Blake and Yang just yet.
Now I would think Yang would have stepped in or something,
Yeah,
seeing
especially if
someone has a problem
Weiss
with her little sister.
is yelling at her sister for no good for not really a good reason. Yang would be like, "Hey, yo, what, like, hey, don't talk to my sister like that." And then
Trying to
she would
take
try,
herself side.
and then she would put Weiss in her place, and vice versa. And maybe Blake would have joined in too, because Blake doesn't like Weiss that much, because because she's regret Weiss Weiss is, she's being an asshole.
I don't think, well, me personally, I don't think Blake would be as confrontational. Just that little clip of talking about how the Schnee Dust Company really is.
Hmm.
I think that's like just the best she would do. Try not to get too entangled in any drama or whatever.
Right.
Just,
Alright. Uh, yeah. So what score would you give it then? Like, where'd you put the peak of trash?
well, this one's gonna be. uh, I'll have to put it more near the trash side, if I'll be honest.
Ooh,
It's
trash.
it doesn't feel. It just feels like there should have been more time,
Especially
and it
especially
doesn't feel rewarding.
especially since the next arc, I think it puts too much time, which I will get into later.
Okay.
Um, what score would you give it then?
Score. Oh, I forgot to give my score for the previous ones. Going back, episode one, give a solid seven, solid introduction.
Solid 7, yeah.
Um, Along with the whole fighting Nevermore, that arc, I'd put it at a seven as well.
Mhm,
Like with both of these, there's the seven, first one, first episode, purely a setup.
mhm.
Um, Second arc, like I said, it's just building the basic building blocks. But this, I don't know, it's just doesn't feel right. I'll put it a five.
A 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I think for sure it's closer towards the trash side,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's a 5 out of 10. I think there was a lot of it was resolved. The development didn't feel ordered. It was resolved too quickly, and it was really resolved too quickly. Really, it was really rushed, and I felt like they could have easily they could have easily made in this entire arc to a Weiss trying to slowly try to understand, and try to, get into that role of being a good partner, and then Ruby also learning trying to be a better leader as well, and then Blake and Yang kind of like trying to do their best to support everyone as a team. And yeah, it's just 2 episodes is not enough. I feel like 2 you need a lot more, just 2 episodes, just especially for the main character of Ruby. I think they should have way more focus than the next arc. The next arc, I call it the Jean being bullied.
Your favorite.
Ugh. If I had to say, this is probably one of the worst arcs in volume 1. Alright, so
Really?
if I had to summarize, the entire from episode what was it? Episode 11 through 14. From episode 11 through 14, we follow Jean this time, where Jean is being bullied by a character in the show named Carl Winchester, who has his own team, called Team Cardinal. And you follow Jean being bullied by Cardin, and we learn more about Jean, where we find out that Jean forged his documents to go to Beacon Academy, and the reason he does this is because he
Indeed.
wants to be a hero like his father and grandfather, and he wants to basically continue the lineage of being a hero. And Pyrrha learns about this, and she wants to try her best to help Jean, but Jean was insistent. on wanting to do it by himself because he justifies it as, if I can do this by myself, then what good am I as what if I can't do this by myself, what good am I? And that revelation, Carden was listening to that the entire time without him knowing, and now Carden it has Carden is basically controlling Jean to do his dirty work and threatening and blackmailing him to do that, or releases his state release or he releases the secret out to everyone. And the arc ends with Jean Jean with the power of friendship and friendship. He fights off an Ursa that almost kills Carden and his team and Jean, and he sticks up to the bully and tells him off, and now he's truly working towards him being a huntsman. I hate it. All right,
I
before I
want to know why you. Oh, no, no, you. I want to know. You go first.
okay, or what's the question?
Why do you hate it?
All right, why do I hate this arc? I think that this arc could have been given to this entire time that we gave to this arc. 4 episodes dedicated to Jean could have been given to Team Root. The main characters of the show. And I think I don't know, I don't understand why we are spending so much time with Team Juniper, because in the end, it's a show about Team RWBY, and we should be focusing on the character development and character dynamics of Team RWBY. And fucking I don't understand why Jean has such a focus for these 4 episodes. And it doesn't help that his fucking reasoning, like, I hate his reasoning of like, oh, he wants to be a hero, because what he says does not match with what he does. And I'll explain why. So Jean's entire thing is that he wants to become a hero, and he wants to be a hero like his father and grandfather. And and then for some reason he's insistent on not taking help from Hero, because he says, if I can't do it by myself, then what good am I? I think fucking stupid reasoning, because if I say this because if Jean really wanted to be a hero and wanted to be a huntsman and want to put the work and effort into actually being better, he should have taken Hero's help. And two, the scene before, he's literally sleeping in class. And if you're trying to be a warrior slash hero, you should be focusing in class uh you should be focusing in class and really taking notes, because these things will help you in the future. And it goes to show that if he's it just it sends a message that he's not really he says he's committed to he says he wants to be a hero, but his actions show that he's not really that committed to being a hero. I think what would have worked, if like, aside from my critique, my issue with having with Jean being the main focus for these episodes, if they really wanted to show Jean to truly try to be a good hero, is actually him studying and really working hard, but he just doesn't have the skill. And that's fine. I think that would have
Like,
that I think that would have believed it a little bit more. But I think Jean is just being really stupid.
this feels like he wants, which is I don't think was the intent. He wants it the easy way,
He wants the
and
easy
that's
way.
not a good look.
And then I think it's just the whole reason him wanting to do it by himself makes sense. I think I meant, okay, I'm gonna bring up a YouTube video from H Bomber where he mentions Jean being this kind of character. I th- like I'm pretty if you can I feel Ruby takes a lot of inspiration. I'm pretty sure Ruby takes a lot of inspiration from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yep,
And I'm
for
pretty
sure.
sure Jean is supposed to be the Sokka of the group. He's the comic relief. He has jokes expense and all that fun stuff. But what made Sokka's development better than Jean currently is that Sokka as a character, he was misogynistic. He thought, like, he was kind of he thinks that women can't be warriors,
Women
and
aren't funny.
women aren't funny. And that sure, it makes him a dislikable character at first, but but over time he humbles himself and learns from the Kyoshi warriors and other and benders like his sister that and Toph that there are women out there that are capable fighters in his world, and that if he wants to grow as a fighter, as a warrior, he learns to suck it up and learn from them. And it makes his development better because in the end he does become and he you see him actually taking the time and effort to growing, you see him take the time and effort to grow as a person and a warrior, so his development makes sense. But for Jean, the whole setup of him, I think if they let Jean be misogynistic, if they really wanted to follow the template like they did for Last Airbender, and just him being like, I don't wanna be taught I don't wanna be taught by a woman. I wanna do this by like, I'm doing this myself because only like, I don't think women are warriors because, there's so many people in Remnant or slash Beak in Beacon Academy that are women and are way more competent than most of the guys in the series. Yeah, it's just overall, my main issue is just I don't believe that Jean really wants to be a hero because he hasn't put the effort. He hasn't really put any effort to actually being a at least, from a you can say he has potential. He has potential to be a hero because he does have leadership qualities, but you can't equate potential with success.
Exactly.
And I don't like Jean as a character. I think after for a while, after like kind of like delving more into the character, I don't like him. And honestly, I think if anything, if I want to be extremely negative, Jean is just Miles Luna's self-insert. Hi, I'm Miles Luna. I'm playing Jean, and I like I want women to love me.
Tries to
I'm
be
a
the
cool.
ladies' man too hard and all
Ah,
that.
don't even get me started. The the fucking like white shit. I know that's supposed to be a joke, but like it's annoying. It gets annoying at certain point. If if I had to, if I had to, oh, actually, not even that. They also make semblances. They never mentioned semblances until now. Like they never because what okay, for those who don't know what semblances are they're basically abilities that comes with when you're having aura. It's like it kind of develops and grows over time. And semblances can be something cool like super speed or like or for Pyrrha, she has an ability where she has magnetism essentially. And
Hey,
yeah, we're again another issue, bad world building. They just kind of drop semblances like in the middle of nowhere, like and and all that stuff. And for God, it's just yeah.
so going back and watching this arc for the first time. Don't know. I don't remember how I reacted to semblances in the first place, but looking back, I'd probably think I still don't know what a semblance is.
If we're not, and again,
It's just
if we're
glossed over.
yeah, if we're gonna talk about later volumes too, if you I can't tell the difference. Yeah, it causes even more confusion, which we'll get to in a
Yep.
future podcast when we get to
Definitely.
volume 3,
Hmm.
specifically volume 3.
Yep.
And yeah. Oh, if you want, if I'm gonna jump straight into the score. My opinion, this is a trash art. Hate it.
Mm.
This is a trash genre art. I it's trash. If I had to score this, this is probably 4 out of 10. 4 or 3
Mm,
out 4 or maybe a 3.5 out of 10.
okay.
There's a lot more negatives this time around, and I think I remember even the writers themselves talked about this where Miles was upset. Well, Miles is kind of sad that this entire like that someone there's like a fan or something that said like, "Hey, I thought the show was called Team Ruby, not Team June," and that affected him so much that he ha- that they made sure they didn't try to make that same mistake again by creating a whole entire fucking arc for Jean. Yeah, get your self-insert looking ass out of here, man.
Which I mean, I don't mind deviating and getting to know these side characters, but the side characters shouldn't take up quarter of the volume. especially when it's the essential beginning where we need to know about the
The
main
main
cast
cast,
more than
the main
anybody in the
girls,
show.
exactly. And this
Mhm.
bites them in the butt later in the future too,
Yep.
and makes me so mad. So yeah, 4 out of 10. This is definitely a trash. This art definitely belongs in the garbage. What do you think? What do you think, Max?
I'm falling along the lines of you, but I will say maybe it's just me, but
Okay.
we do get to see, um, especially well in the end, um, John and Pierre's relationship become closer in this, and that's it's right. It shows some development between how they feel about each other. Something that will not be named, shit that will not be named. We'll get them when we get there. Um,
Oh
I will
God.
give it. Uh, I'm on the same lines of you. S- Motivation to become a hero isn't backed up by what he does.
You get it.
And
You bet. If you say you gotta back it up.
mhm,
At least for Sokka,
oh
and
yeah,
again, going back to Sokka, at least you see him actually training, trying to,
hmm
even though he was bad at first, he was trying,
he's
and that
putting
speaks
in
a lot.
work.
That speaks way more volumes than Jean sleeping in class and then haphazardly fighting in class and not
Yep,
learning
exactly.
and not taking
Show
help
don't
when.
tell. Yeah, I'll give it.
What's your score?
It's just definitely leaning more towards the trash, of course.
Okay,
But a 4.5.
4.5. Okay, 4.5,
4.5.
pi-
Low
point 5
average.
difference,
'Cause there are still some
and
parts that I enjoyed. The fights, of course, that was sick.
I think
But
anything involving Ren and Nora during early volumes, there's, it's fun. I'm
yeah,
having fun with it. Okay. Last but not least, 15 and 16,
here we
the
go.
White Fang arc. So
The White
the
Fang, our favorite.
yeah, the White Fang. This is gonna get controversial real quick, but let's give a general synopsis. So, we follow Team Root. They're kind of having a day out toward having a day out in Vale, and while Weiss wants to go to Vale so she can kind of scout out competition for the previously mentioned Vital Festival, which was mentioned in the Jean arc, where a little tournament arc, but we'll get to that when we get there. And while they were exploring, they find a robbed dust shop, and the police there claim make a guess that it could be the White Fang, and we get to see Weiss's racism kicking
Mm,
in.
I'm about to get
Weiss
racist.
saying and Weiss is saying, "Oh, the White Fang. Why am I not surprised? Such degenerates." And that triggers Blake, who we all know is a faunus. Um, this creates tension between Weiss and Blake because of their differing way of life, differing viewpoint. They're just different in many aspects. They're literally black and white, and
Mm,
uh, this argument goes on until, actually I'm gonna and they all, Penny's also introduced during this arc too, but we'll talk
yeah, Penny.
more about Penny
Penny
later
pops
because
up.
she doesn't really have she's kind of just there. But
Just pops
we
up.
follow and this conversation like builds up back at their dorms, where it gets so heated to the point where Blake accidentally blurts out that she was a faunus. Well, how the conversation went was Weiss detests the White Fang was because the White Fang made her life more difficult because she saw people that she cared about, board members, people that she was close and knew they were either kidnapped or killed by the hands of the White Fang, and her father and I'm assuming her father has and she said that her father made her childhood very difficult. So she
Mhm.
doesn't she detests the White Fang because she thinks they're because they are murderers, thieves and murderers. And that's when Blake blows up and says, "Well, maybe we're just tired of being pushed around." Boom, reveal
Finally. Mm.
Blake is a cat faunus. Ta-da!
She's like,
And Blake, because of this revelation, Blake runs off, and that's when she meets Sun, who was previously mentioned in the episode as because he was one of the vacuo students that came to Vale, and he was being a mischief because whatnot. Oh yeah, and he was voiced by Sun Wukong is voiced by Miles Jones. you'll probably know him as the angry videos from Let's Play slash Achievement Hunter, where it's just him yelling. But besides that, um, Blake leaves and Team Ruby is trying to find the remaining members of Team Ruby are trying to find Blake, and Blake runs off, and you get to hear more of her backstory where she was fighting for faunus rights since like she was a kid, and at first it was peaceful. At first it was the White Fang were a peaceful protest group, but over time when they weren't seeing results and they were getting harmed and harassed in the fight, they they escalated and and they became more radical with their movement, and this led to them being more of the extremist group that people kind of view them as now. And uh Blake and Son and Blake Son and she's telling this to Son, and the reason why Blake also ran away, she wants to know like what's going on with the White Fang and why they're involved in dust robbery. And this leads to her finding out that after a stakeout mission, she finds out that Roman Torchwick, the previous villain from the first episode, you don't see for the entire arc, for the entire season, that he was actually leading the White Fang, and she was confused as to why the White Fang would even follow a human. And this leads to like all out fight at the docks where Team Ruby manages to find Blake and Son, and also previously established character Penny Palladino, who is also kind of just dropped into the plot out of nowhere. And she's voiced by, let me see who she's voiced by. Penny. Who voices Penny? I spelled Penny wrong. Fuck. Let's see. Penny is voiced by Taylor McNee, and Penny's like kind of like a fun. I'm not gonna spoil too much about future stuff, but she's a funny. She's kind of like the kind of like out of
Tell
weird.
you.
She's kind of like a weird, out of touch, socially not socially inept, but like how do I describe that? She's like not the most socially aware. Is that the right word?
Say that. She's not the most. Actually, no, I wouldn't say she's not socially aware. It's just.
Well,
uh,
her personal space is not
she's not
in her
the most
definition
socially interactive.
interact. I guess, yeah, she doesn't. It was her first time interacting with people. And then yeah, so the volume ends with Roman Tortrick and the White Fang getting away, but they managed to stop the dust robbery, and Blake and Weiss make up somehow, and setting up for future plot points with with the introduction of the queens have pawns and all that fun stuff, and also the reveal of Cinderfall, which we will get into in a bit. So, overall, what do you think? What do you think about the arc?
Um, I'll give praise where praise is due.
Okay.
Oh, that was a sick ass final fight. I love how Sun fights. I love it. What's the name of Sun's weapon?
Uh, I think it was Bang and Bang.
I love that whole last fight scene, how he's using the nunchucks and again with the shots, using the movements of the shots. That happens a lot, but it's just so good. Every time
Mm.
it's done every time, but it's still entertaining how they
Yeah,
can keep thinking of these different types of weapons and unique combinations.
and the cool thing
Uh,
is like the cool part about his weapon is like you can see when the weapon like splits apart, and then you see him actually toward his weapon like real nunchucks. So you see him throwing it like throwing his nunchuck back. You see his left hand catching it, firing off the gun, and whacking him in the face, and then doing it again, and then combining the
yeah.
weapon to do like a bow staff and shit. Again,
Just
incredible attention to details when it comes to fight scenes. And not Ruby, Penny, she's great, I guess. She's fun. She has a fun. She brings a fun element for the arc, and she has really
she's
cool
just there to
weapons.
introduce the
I don't
character.
I don't know how much her weapons make sense, but she's a
It just
technological based
works.
weaponry.
Yeah.
All right, now my issue, the white thing.
Let's see. Yep. White thing.
We gotta okay. I'm assuming. the White Fang is supposed to be a representation of the real world Black Panther group. For those who don't know, the Black Panther was a political militia group for the Black community during the 70s, where um, they were essentially like security force for Black communities because during this time there was a lot of during this time and still there's still a lot of violence against the Black community, and they formed a militia group to help protect those communities. And I think other oh god, it's just mm, okay. So they established there's racism in Ruby and how like people detest some there are people who detest the faunus out there. And and it's not done it's not done cleverly. It is not even cleverly, it's not done accurately. Uh Max, you wanna weigh in on this?
I don't even know where to start.
I don't know where to start
Let's
either.
start with how the movement started to begin with,
Okay.
where it was it was a peaceful movement, like
Mhm.
transferring. Let's try to keep this as least political as possible. It's not saying this ties into politics. This is what I'm about to say, but we'll do our
Okay.
best.
Okay.
Started out as like MLK approach with peaceful protest and non-violent approaches to um, gaining equal rights, and then when that wasn't working, and someone else took over. It turned into the Malcolm X movement, as we speak, Black Panther, where it got more aggressive and it turned into fighting back. And I feel one of the things that dragged it down is that it feels like at a certain point they weren't fighting for equality, they were just fighting to fight.
I know. No, I
That's my
think
take.
that's how they're taking the White Fang group. But I don't
Mhm.
think I my issue is that they didn't accurately portray what racism was really about, or if they even
No.
understood what the Black Panther or the Malcolm X group movement was at the time.
Mhm.
And here, the worst part is that the White Fang are the villains. And if you really want
Exactly. They
and
were
if you really
literally
wanna think about it, this entire story, Team Ruby is fighting against a group of oppressed individuals who are just fighting for their rights. But and then I think at some point the writers realized that, so they had to change them they had to, like, change them to such an extreme degree in order to make them unjustifiable and make them villains. But then that again, that doesn't it it doesn't portray what racism and history was like for the Black Panther movement. And even and like in history, people think that the Black Panther movement was a violent group, but then no, in the end they're just a militia group that like kept they're basically security. They're trying to keep their community safe,
That's exactly the point. It was more of the
and if they were
defend
provoked,
yourself.
yeah,
If we are
it,
provoked, we will fight back. The faunus, the what not faunus, the white thing is actively going out of their way
to
to cause havoc and pretty much terrorist.
terrorism. And the and it and the worst part is, like, I think that you're supposed to disagree with Weiss here. Weiss is being really really, really, like, being racist and fucked up and letting her own personal history, dictate how she views the entire group of people. But in the context of the world with how much how villainous the White Fang became, she has a point, and it sucks
Yeah.
because 'cause you're not supposed to agree. Because I think if the White Fang was accurately portrayed as, being like the real world counterpart where they're just trying to defend themselves, then then Weiss would not then Weiss's point Weiss's point would have been mute, and I think that and their point of of Weiss being in the wrong would have made more sense. But because the White Fang are a group of terror or became a group of is now a group of is a terrorist group, and they're causing deaths and havoc across in Vale and eventually around the you can't just you it's hard to justify it's hard to justify what the white thing are doing now, and it again, it looks really bad. It just makes it look really bad that, you're that you have it that we're basically fighting an aggress where the villains are in one of the main villain factions are just in a group of oppressed individuals who are just fighting for their rights, and it makes Blake look really dumb too. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Blake is trying to make her point of, like, how, like, "Oh, they're not degenerates, they're not murderers, they're just trying to fight for their rights." No, they're not fighting for their rights anymore, they're just causing havoc. General
Seems like
and
a lot of back and forth in between how Blake is describing them. On one end, she's like, I think this is later in the seasons where she leaves because she doesn't agree with their ways and what they're doing, and then goes back on it and says, "Oh, you don't understand them. They are doing this to survive." And it's like, where are you in this?
where are you on this? Exactly. Again, I think when it comes to such a sensitive topic, racism being portrayed in media, I think it's either you should really do your best to accurately portray real world racism into your media, or just don't do it at all, because you're going to mess it up if you don't handle it with enough care and nuance. And I just really I just did not like the way they did a terrible job at portraying racism. And I think even I'm sorry, if I'm gonna break a little bit, they go into later volumes. They never explore the systematic side of racism involved in RWBY. They kinda show it now to be more of like individual base by base situation. So it also makes the white fang look bad, because if racism systematically isn't shown in RWBY, what are they fighting for? They just in the end, it's just their issues just stems with individual people who are still holding on to a old belief, and that's hard to change. You can't change that. Systematically, there could be a way to if there is a genuine system in the world of RWBY uh that is trying to limit the rights of faunacists, then it would then then the purpose of the white fang would make more sense. But in later volumes, because they didn't explore that there is some kind of systematic racism involved, they just kind of uh it just make what it just I just question what the white fang is fighting for at that point.
Feel like, and tying in later seasons, I feel like I have to
We
make
have
this
to at this
point.
point, because the white
It's
fang is such a big part of it.
like you said, there's no central force that is opposing the white fang. They're fighting for their rights. They're fighting for equality. But the best I see of oppression against Faunus is that one scene with Carden where he's bullying, which is kind of and then
But even
later
then,
in the
that's
seasons, there's like this part in Mistral where it just says a no Faunus sign,
oh
and it
yeah,
feels
yeah.
like they're putting this stuff in, but they don't know
The
the context,
actual
why this is happening, why these movements like um Black Panther, MLK, what really happened? What's the substance behind them? And it's missing substance, and it backfires because, like you said, they are pretty much the villains of the story. We should be rooting for them for their equality, but instead, it's doing the opposite.
It's just yeah, no, I think if they just didn't have if the White Fang didn't have, that if the White Fang didn't if they were just normal villains and just bad people for the sake of being bad people, I think it would have been but the fact that there's a political side to the situation, and racism being involved, you you can't you have to portray that with a lot of care and nuance. If not, it just looks really bad. You just can't write racism like this is a terrible way to write race.
I don't even get the sense that
I don't think I even understood what
this
racism is.
what's up
I don't nothing. Sorry, continue.
throughout. And again, I have to bring up later volumes throughout, specifically the school art with Beacon.
Mhm.
After Blake is revealed to be a Faunus and more Faunus characters show up, we don't really see any racism go on outside of that. The best we see is Coco being bullied by Carter. But other than that, we don't see examples on Faunus being harassed and why. Maybe I missed something, but it just feels like doesn't feel right. It's the
Yeah,
best way I can put it.
it just doesn't feel right. I don't think they've done a very good job at really portraying racism, like trying to portray our real world racism into the show.
Feels lazy.
It feels lazy. It feels it yeah. So yeah, that's a major gripe I have. The White Fang as a villain group, no, they misrepresented. They've done a terrible job at like representing the nuance of a situation like racism. And let's talk about Blake and Weiss themselves. Um,
Maybe
again, same issue with with the Weiss and Ruby arc. Weiss development to not being racist does not make any sense. Or slash it happened. They rushed her development way too quickly because um like after their outburst, Weiss is still keeping like holding her beliefs like, oh yeah, like well, the innocent never run, Yang. It's meh. And then magically near the end, she's like, "Are you still with the White Fang? No? Okay, then we're good.
I don't care. We're
I
good.
don't care."
You're on our team. That's all that matters.
And that's
It just switches from A to Z real quick.
yeah, and they didn't there wasn't a natural progression to show like Weiss was really pondering if what she was thinking was if what she was taught and learned as a child was true, was it true or not? And I think when it comes to like if you want to solve racism on an individual basis, I can only speak from I can only really talk from an individual basis, not like the whole. That's a different ball in general. But like it's how to dismantle individual racism. It takes you need to have a level of empathy involved and willingness to change along with educating yourself on the group of people that you spend your life hating and getting to know them as a person either through knowledge or like talking to them as a person.
Exactly.
And I think and Blake, she barely talked to Blake. She had a whole argument with her, and they were both separated during the last 2 episodes, and obviously she didn't read any freaking books about faunus history or whatnot. So I don't. It's the same issue I've been seeing with Weiss and Jean too. I don't see the on-screen natural progression to warrant that she changed as a person. It felt like just happened off screen or they just completely forgot about it.
Yep.
Yeah, and then also what's Blake? I don't like Blake, man. She's stupid.
She's
Yes,
my least favorite.
she's my least favorite, man.
I'm
And we're not
sorry to
even
tell you, Blake lovers. Like we say, this is our opinion. If you love Blake, props to you. You see something we can't.
yeah, probably. This is how it is. But I don't think I and this is volume 1 Blake. We haven't even reached like later volume.
Yeah.
Fucking
Um,
Blake yeah, Blake here, because of the whole context with how the White Fang and racism is portrayed, I just think Blake looks really dumb trying to support, trying to fight, like trying to like argue for the White Fang. Like it
mhm.
just like they're at this like in the end, Weiss is right. They are a terrorist group in the end. They are causing havoc, stealing, causing havoc, and hurting people, like hurting slash killing people.
Great said this reminds me of Winter Soldier, bro. How can a Winter Soldier? He's like, stop calling them terrorists. They're clearly terrorists.
You got to do better, Senator.
Do better, said
Oh my god. Ugh, shit. Yeah, and then and then as for Ruby and Yang, they're kind of just there, along with Penny. She was introduced. She had her like fun little like introduction and her badass fight scene of like lasering down the entire fucking docks. But other than that, I think she was fine. I think like
It's okay.
Penny's introduction was fine. Ruby and Yang had no real strong
Yeah.
presence in terms of trying to like bring the team back together. It just kind of weirdly naturally happened. just weirdly happens. Like kind of like
What I'm noticing with trying to develop the team, it's that yeah, they're trying to develop the team and bring them close together. But every instance, it just feels like it's resolved too fast and it doesn't feel genuine and it doesn't feel rewarding in a sense.
or
Where
it's all
sometimes these
resolved off
characters are,
screen.
yeah, and sometimes these characters are dumbed down or just given little to no dialogue. And it's primarily centered around like what we said with Ruby and Weiss, that was those two. Now Weiss and Blake, where it's only two, only pairs, where this should be a team matter.
Hmm.
And
Especially since they're the main characters and they should be
yeah, they
involved.
are the main characters. Yeah.
And I don't even,
I
again, I'm not even gonna talk about the genre. The genre. I hate that arc.
wait, I just realized they didn't even they
They didn't. They didn't
wow,
even what?
Ruby was not even touched during the John arc. I forgot
Oh
about
my god!
that.
Yeah, because Ruby was playing like she's now I guess on the story in the genre arc. She's like the supportive character. We've learned nothing
She was
about.
a side character.
Oh
No.
no!
Yeah, it's
God.
just that little bit of you can do it, John, like how Oz told Ruby and Ruby tells to John, but that's it. And
Again,
the whole thing with the semblances.
and Ruby's the main character. She hasn't had any major good development. She's actually, if anything, the only stuff she's really been given is like, "Hey, you're competent. Don't worry." That's it. She has
You can
not
do
worked.
this.
She has
Ah,
not. She has been. She's the same character. The first episode, and she's still the same at the end of. Same goes for Yang. Blake is a maybe, and then Weiss is probably the one that changed the most. But the progression, that the development towards that change, I don't. It's rushed, and
in a
it's rushed,
very
and it's
steep
not.
hill upward.
Yeah, and it doesn't. And Weiss didn't get enough time to really like learn those lessons. It was just kind of she just kind of magically 180 changed.
She was just told these things. That was it. Again, they were telling and not showing.
Going. This is and this is sad because this is supposed to be Team Ruby. This is Ruby, the main character on the show, are getting not getting enough development, or at least not getting proper development. And the fact that Jean, a side character, has been given more development, regrettably, than Ruby herself. There's an issue. There's an issue with volume one. You know what? Not, since we're near the end, we might as well talk about. Um,
Cutting out. You're cutting in and out. You might want to fix your
sorry,
mic.
sorry. I'm
Those
like
last
back.
bit.
I'm like taking a like breath every time I lean back because like
Okay.
God. Um, volume. How would you describe? How would you describe volume one as a whole?
Ooh, you're describing as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of nearing towards the natural end of the volume, so it's kind of like let's wrap it up
No,
and see
this
what.
is the end of the volume. So
Yeah. So what do you
I
think?
I describe this as multiple side stories where if we're really thinking about it, we don't like we mentioned earlier, we don't learn much about the world. And that is the most important thing. One of the most important things, establishing a story, especially in the beginning, where you want to hook your audience in. You want them to have a reason. Why should I watch this? Why should I soak to the end? What are our characters fighting for? What are they against? And they dabble in about the villains and show just their face and oh, we're doing bad things, but we don't really hint at what's really going on behind the surface.
But I'm pretty sure there's gonna be people saying, "Oh, the villains are supposed malicious, evil force that are hidden in the shadow."
You were
But
cutting
like,
in and out. I did
oh,
not hear anything you
okay.
just
Well,
said.
I was saying like I'm pretty sure there's gonna be people. That's the entire point. Supposed to be a militia shadow. They're supposed to be hiding in the shadow. And they're planting seeds for future volumes. But I think even if you were trying to establish future volumes, future plot points for volumes, you still need to focus on your own volume, and that is to develop the story in said volume to make us care.
As viewers, we are viewers. We are watching the story from all aspects. We're seeing things the villains won't see about the heroes, and the heroes won't see about the villains, which is what makes it amazing. We're seeing both viewpoints, and I wish we could have gotten a bit more of both viewpoints.
Oh
And I
yeah, I
get
forgot.
the whole
I forgot.
setting up stuff, all that, but
I
what are you gonna say?
forgot Roman Torchwick was not even. It was only
Yep.
barely appeared. The fact that we didn't have that that the villain wasn't even seen that often just goes to show how the story is.
Um,
Okay,
what about you?
let's.
How do you feel about this wrapping up volume 1 as a whole?
It's rough. It's
Yeah.
very rough. If
It
we're gonna
has its
talk,
moments.
it has its moments, of course, mainly the fight scenes because Monty knows how to. But like outside of Monty's fight scenes, it's 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 just not really there hasn't been much development for me. I enjoy the main thing I enjoy about movies and TV shows, I get connect and learn the characters. And I feel like I have not learned I think now looking back, I have not really learned, grown, or care enough about have seen anything to warrant that I care enough about the characters. And then you can argue for Jean, but then my issue is like, why are we focusing so much on Jean when we should be focusing on Team Ruby? And that already and then it just makes me sad that we didn't get enough of Team Ruby uh in a show called Ruby where you follow the main four leads. And we barely got any good development for them. And Weiss Devade, even though she did get development in the end, it was really rushed. It was really rushed and not cohesively done and given the time and effort it deserves, like it did for Jean. Because for some reason we all want to focus on Jean for some reason because
Oh, John.
because he's the male character, male characters. But
Oh,
okay. So main issue, didn't like the story. I think this I think the story could have the element and story could have done a lot better. And animation outside of fight scenes, the animations is janky as fuck. I've not mentioned it till now, but, like, the way they walk and run looks so off. You know what I
there's
mean?
there's one instance that stands out to me the most is when they, in the when they're fighting the Nevermore, when they're getting the chess pieces after Y saves Ruby from Scorpion, Yang has this weird running up scene like there's no depth. It looks
Like, there's no weight in her steps, so it just looks sliding across the floor.
it looks like they just animated a running animation and just enlarged her character the closer she got to the screen.
God.
Just little stuff like that. But in the end, like I said, I'm not going to be super critical of this volume because this is just starting out. They're testing out everything.
Fair
They're
enough, I
seeing
guess.
how they can adjust, how things can work, learning from what they did right, improving on that, learning what they did wrong, and fixing those up. And yeah,
And I think you're right. I think I would say volume 2 in the future when we talk about it, it does improve in technological and some aspects of the story, but again, it has its flaws. But yeah, I think if I had to give a score, it's it's towards the trash section, volume 1 as a whole, I think, in my opinion. And if I had to rank volume 1, I'd probably give it probably a 5, maybe a 6 out of 10 at best. What do you think?
I can see that. It's an average volume. It's has its ups, has its downs. It's pretty equal in that. I did enjoy it though. I'm not saying it was grueling.
Actually, you
It's
know
just
what?
some stuff.
I'm gonna change my score to 7 out of 10 because I'm not because I didn't include fight scene.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was thinking along the 7 out of 10 too.
Mhm.
It's not bad. It's not dog shit. It's not dog water. It's not peak fiction, but it's that fine line in the middle, a bit above average, and it shows there's potential,
Mhm.
and they have something with this. If they could just iron out some of the kinks, we'll have something amazing.
Yep. I'll be right back actually because I need to use the restroom.
Okay, I'm gonna entertain the
Fuck.
stream.
Entertain. Entertain. Fuck.
So wow, LG is gone. I'm going to talk about a series that is um instantly at the top of the peak. Even though we're talking about Ruby, One Piece, the greatest piece of fiction to ever grace the land. I gotta stop saying I gotta stop. As of right now, I'm rereading One Piece for the fifth time. I'd say, yeah, this is the fifth time. If you have not read or watched One Piece, I urge you to do so. Sometimes, like all anime, manga fandoms, things can be weird, but if you enjoy One Piece for how it is and enjoy the journey itself and not to concentrate on just catching up and getting to the end with all the 100 volumes and 1,000 chapters and episodes, you will enjoy your time. Uh, Best thing I can say about One Piece is everything that we're talking about in Ruby when it comes to story building and portraying racism and building characters. One Piece has had a lot more time to do that, if I'd say years, and every moment feels rewarding. Having something from shit, the first volume come back and have effect in the 100th volume. It's crazy.
Wait, are
So,
you talking about One Piece?
damn shit, I'm talking about One Piece.
Are you talking about? Because you okay? No, you're good, man. You're. It's kind of
Yeah,
funny.
finishing off my thoughts.
Okay, sorry. So go ahead, continue.
Finishing off my thoughts with One Piece is don't be intimidated by how long it is. No need to rush. Take your time. And if you ever meet a One Piece fan who pressures you to read and says, "Oh, you're not in it. You can't stick through 100 chapters because you're," can I say? Oh, I won't say this first. That's a bit of a harsher curse word. But if anybody clowns you for not reading 100,000 chapters as a One Piece fan, they're not a One Piece fan. Um, it's all about taking time and enjoying these things and tying back to Ruby. Yes, Ruby has is not running for like years like One Piece is, but
Hmm. Excuse me.
going
Sorry,
into
I burped.
volume one and into the future, it is interesting to see how things have developed these past couple years when it comes, like I said, story writing, characters, world building. So I'm very interested to keep talking about this and give more of our takes because the more we go on, the more spicy it's gonna get. Trust me. Trust me.
Oh, it's gonna get spicy. It's gonna. It's gonna be so spicy. It's gonna go in your mouth. You'll feel
It's
it
gonna burn you.
tossing and
It's gonna
turning. It's gonna
burn.
burn you in the inside, and it comes out in.
Yeah, like that freaking movie. It was oh, it was a really good horror movie. Which movie was it? Where the thing comes out of her stomach. Was
Trying
it
to
Alien?
aliens? Was it
No, it
aliens?
wasn't Alien. It
Was it
was.
was it demon related? Is it
Was it
demon?
that movie where they were in the snow
No.
and they were being corrupted by these monsters one by one, and the only way to kill the monster was to burn it.
It sounds like Evil Dead, but I don't think so. It doesn't sound like evil. I don't know actually. I think I feel like you're thinking about a entirely different movie I don't know about.
Okay, I think actually I'm thinking of two separate horror movies, but yes,
Okay.
it will come out of your stomach and come alive as an evil demon of spice. That's how spicy our takes are gonna be.
Yep. Anyways, I believe this is a great way to end the podcast. So thank you for coming by and listening to the Pika
Wait,
Trash podcast on what we
wait,
thought about Ruby. What's up?
it wasn't recording.
No, it was recording.
I'm kidding. I was trying to
I
fuck
was
with
like,
you.
I'm like, no, we have the bot is in the chat with us. We should be fine. And I have the stop button, so we're good. But
Okay.
yeah, hopefully in the future we'll be covering more stuff, more volumes of Ruby, and we get talk have more hot takes, have more fun times, and how should we end the stream? What do we have like a little zinger we can add at the end?
Zoo wee mama.
Wait, let's do it together. Ready? Wait, 1, 2, 3.
Zoo
Zooey
wee
mama.
mama. That was probably so off,
I
but
know, probably. Have a good night, everyone.
no, in all actuality, yeah. Good night, good morning, wherever you are. thank you to whoever's tuning in to our first podcast. Hopefully, we can keep going with this, and yeah, it's a fun time. Hope you
Yep.
guys enjoy.
All right. Thank you for coming. Have a good night.